What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Shacknews Twitch channel. Today is Monday, April the 25th, 2022. We're here with the 129th episode of the wide world of electronic sports. We're here with our host, Rodney Conyers Jr., Bryan
Hey, everybody.
Lefler. Fellas, big time weekend in esports. Tell me what's going on.
Yes, sir. You already know, man. It was a great weekend to play video games, just really to be a part of the overarching community. But since, we're talking about esports here, we got to kick things off with Smash. But like he said, I'm Rod. This is my main man, Brian. And wow, Pound was a thing this last weekend in a lot of ways. It ruffled some feathers on the sticks and off the sticks. And we got to talk about it, man. Where do we even start? I guess let's start with the greatest esport in the world, Brian. Let's start with Melee, right?
You want to start with Melee, Rod?
I think we should start with Melee. Let's start with the greatest esport on the
It
planet.
is.
All right.
I think it is. I think it's the greatest esport on the planet, and I will go to my grave thinking that.
Yes, sir. We'll die on it.
Yeah, let's dive into Melee. Well, let's first off talk about the big winner, right? Like break it down since you were there. Break down the grand finals for me.
Grand finals was just okay. Before we even get to grand finals, we got to actually talk about the journey at hand because this is Melee. This is what everybody loves. We love a good storyline. I mean, guys, if you're just tuning in, this is what keeps people like me and Brian hooked into the Smash community is the storylines attached to these players. So first and foremost, Mango out at 13th. Holy shit. And I know that he went on to tweet, the way that a top player should tweet after a loss like that. I'm not feeling myself. I'm really upset about this, whatever. He's holding himself accountable. However, he's still the GOAT. He might be working on himself in the background, but trust and believe he's going to be back in no time.
Yeah, I don't think he was feeling Pound.
Yeah, Pound is such an interesting event, too, not to tangent off too much. Again, we always talk about Combo Breaker, CO, and Evo. We've covered all three of those events a multitude of times here, but the Big House, Genesis, and Pound are kind of like our big three. And with Pound being technically the first super major established in 2006, I think sometimes we just go into these events expecting too much. Like at the end of the day, these are still grounded experiences, and we just have to make sure that we're treating everybody like human beings. And Gimmer and Apostle do their damnedest to put on a performance here for everybody to perform at their top professional level, but sometimes things slip through the cracks. Mango's gameplay slipped through the cracks a little bit. You know what I'm saying? He's going to bounce back. But that grand finals, though, Zane versus HBox, look, there weren't a lot of Foxes. There weren't a lot of Falcos in that top 8. I get it. And sometimes when they're not there, watching Yoshi and Jigs, the Peaches go back and forth, a little bit of a snooze fest. But at least grand finals, Brian, was cool. And big shout out to the boy Zane for putting on a show. HBox is no slouch, but Zane is the fucking man.
Absolutely. It was a great show. Zane took just a phenomenal set against HBox, and really congratulations to him for being able to beat. I mean, for beating HBox, that's no joke, right? I mean, HBox is still one of the best in the world. His puff is very scary, always will be. But yeah, I'm happy to see Zane win as well. But let's talk about a little bit of the Melee side that people don't really see at these tournaments. Like we had some words from IBDW about his experience, right? And you were there, so can you talk a little bit about IBDW? And so he was unhappy with the way that top 16 and top 64 were handled, I think, right?
Yeah, I'm saying only because there's most of these stream organizations have a billion channels, but there were 2 streams for Ultimate and there was 1 for Melee, which going into it, I didn't really think much of. As a commentator, we get the schedule way before everybody else. I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay, cool, let's run it. But then when I really sat down in my hotel and thought about it, I was like, wait, there's only 1 stream for Melee and we got some of the best players in the world here. Don't we want to make sure we capture all this actions? I figured, but I don't know anything about real production, on that level. Okay. I just commentate. So I was like, maybe there's a method to this madness. But in IBDW's opinion, it doesn't matter what the method was to the madness. He just wasn't feeling it. Player fatigue, I feel like really set in for him, which is, a little unfortunate because I think he tweeted that he hasn't got anything outside of top 8 in a long ass time.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that for him really kind of set him off on top of, not quite being able to get a hold of Gimmer. I think that was what an issue was, but again, Gimmer, of course, runs these events the best way that he can. And sometimes he has to step away and go put out a fire somewhere else, and then he has a bunch of staff members here at the event. So, but in either way, like when things happen, it's like we want to see Gimmer and Apostle. And so, unfortunately, he couldn't get a hold of Gimmer. So he did what most people are going to do, and that's get on twitter.com. And I know he talked about it in the thread too. He tweeted, I would hope Gimmer sees this. I'm not hating. I respect Pound. I love everything that he does. But I have to be able to open up this conversation somewhere. And if my performance is bad, I want people to understand why, not only me, but the rest of the Melee community kind of feels this way. I will say this. It does cost a lot of money. The more streams, obviously, the more money you have to put into it, because you have to pay somebody's actually to run those streams, because it's not just a guy back there pressing buttons. Like, luckily enough, we have Krabs. Krabs presses all the buttons we don't want to press. But on a real production, like a really big one at an event, somebody has to round these top players up, and that's like herding cats, because the minute they sit down, they're like, hey, don't move. You got a match in 5 minutes. And guess what they want to do? They want to get up and they want to move. Oh, I got a dookie. Oh, I'm hungry. Oh, I got it. Like, bro, play your match. Don't leave.
Speaking to that, so I found this is exactly what IBDW said. And this is so word for word. Basically, all of top 16 / most of top 64 was on one stream, which is what you were talking about with Melee only having one stream. So he said that he played at 2 p.m. Next match was supposed to start at 6. Without any warning, match was delayed until 9:30.
Yes.
And then while waiting, was then told to go up immediately on stage. And when got up there, he's forced to wait 20 minutes on stage for commentators to switch and ads to run, and then says that's just not acceptable. So, I mean, really, that definitely that's your whole day, right? I mean, from 2 o'clock to 9:30, that's your whole damn day.
It is. And, with the hotel not being as close to the convention center, well, I mean, this isn't really a convention center. This is Xanadu Games. Again, like, this is like Disney World for Smash. So, but there's no hotel in walking distance that they put a lot of us in. They put us in the DoubleTree, just, a little bit further away, but a nicer hotel. So big shout out to the team for that. But, a lot of times when stuff like that happens, we just break away. Hey, I'm just going to go sit for a little bit, go in my room, unwind. It's like one of those situations where, like, it's just far enough where it doesn't justify you leaving, but it's just close enough to where, like, I kind of still want to do it. But he put his best foot forward and he stayed, which again probably made the production very happy. I've never, of course, been a Melee top player or really a top player of any sort of esport, but I could completely sympathize with, like, man, let's just get these matches going. Commentators got to switch. There's a lot of moving pieces. Of course, we have to pay bills with these ads and these slides. So I completely get it, IBDW. You know what I'm saying? Like, your cries were heard. I feel you. You place out a top 8 once, it sucks, but dude, like, you're one of the baddest motherfuckers to ever pick up, Melee. Bad meaning good. One of the baddest motherfuckers ever. Like, dude, you're going to bounce back in no time. And with it being the Summer Smash, dude, there's a fucking major every damn weekend, man.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk about Ultimate, right? Because we're running Ultimate in the background. That's the main B-roll we got for today because it's the most exciting. I mean, Ultimate was just crazy with its top 8. So yeah, take us through the top 8 on Ultimate, because I hear it was a little international again.
It was a little international, and you know what? As I'm getting older in this community, I'm starting to realize the pull that Smash has on a global level. A couple years ago, it was just like you get a sprinkle of Japanese players here and there. Canada comes down. Mexico, of course, is on the come up, but now we got the DR, we got France, we got everybody coming through and throwing down at a top professional level too. Like, it's no longer like, these 5 players from America just whoop everybody's ass, but we like love the international scene because they play different characters. We're all competing now. So top 8 started out really strong because top 16, which I had the opportunity to do with my man J-Dog out there in Maryland, big shout out to him. We set the scene. We had a lot of really great matches. Top 8 gave us Sean, who, for those who don't know, people are dubbing him the best Captain Falcon. They're dubbing him the best Captain Falcon without even seeing him play against any other real, like.
I heard Sean was the honorary champion.
Dude, so look, I commentated Sean versus Bacon.
Okay.
And I'm going to be honest, as much of a performance that Sean put on, I have to tip my hat to Bacon. Bacon is pushing a character like Dr. Mario to its limits, all right? This lets you know that Bacon is a great performer, great player. It's just Dr. Mario's just Dr. Mario. But either way, Sean came from Florida and has been driving up the East sleeping in his car, going to weeklies, going to monthlies in different regions, just beating ass and taking names. This is the most recent stop, Pound, and damn did he do just that. He caught Bacon with that Falcon punch, Brian, and I'm gonna be honest, my
Yeah.
eyes came out of my head like fucking Scooby Doo. It was like ooga, like he tore him up, man. But he made it to top 8. Wasn't quite able to make it as far as he would
Mhm.
like to, but again, it's an experience. You'll do better next time. Zamba still unsponsored, unfortunately. Actually, I believe he beat the Buzz. Yeah, he beat the Buzz in
Wow.
top 8. So that's the King of New York versus the Prince of New York. Zamba, hope we get him a sponsorship soon. That Rob gameplay, phenomenal. God, who else played? There was of course, I mean, MK Leo and Glutony.
Yeah,
I mean,
MK Gluttony, yeah.
the run back from Genesis. I mean, it just goes to show, chat, if you just, study the VOD, study your notes, you might be able to play that same guy again in that same spot and beat him. Now, this time though, Glutony was in winners, Leo was in
Yeah,
losers.
Leo was doing his usual thing, right? Trying to
Yeah.
come back through losers, which he's want to do. I mean, that's his style. It's okay. Nobody's gonna fault Leo for trying to take a grand finals through losers again.
Right.
But couldn't do it. I mean, the Wario was just too strong.
It
Do you
was.
think do you think this is going to be a pattern? Do you think this is like the start of maybe a little international rivalry
You
with
know,
Mexico and France?
well, you know what? It might be. And I'm happy that if it does go down that way, it's told on our soil. So for those who don't know, there's 3 events happening in at the end of May. In end of May. I think that's Memorial Day weekend. So of course, Combo Breaker and MomoCon are just infamously scheduled at the same time, and I fucking hate it, because I want to go to both. This year I'm going to MomoCon. But please go to Combo Breaker as well. There's another event happening over in Portugal that I almost got hired for. And what's supposed to go down is MK Leo, this new esports arena is opening up, and they want to make sure that they open up with the bang to really set the scene for the rest of their career basically. And so MKLeo and Glutony, they're bringing them both there to do I think a best of 5 or a first of 5 set. So I guess this is going to be like the new thing. And honestly, man, I'm kind of here for it. MKLeo, of course, phenomenal to see, a crowd pleaser, has a legion of fans behind him. Glutony, if you watch Genesis there Twitch chat, you could hear France in the background, and it was some serious shit. The whole crowd too, like they were doing the Wario clap in the air and everything. So I like this story arc, and I also like the fact
Yeah,
too that Light is probably our best American placing player right now too. I think if there's going to be anybody to carry the torch from America, I would like it to be Light.
absolutely. I mean, Light is definitely carrying the torch for the USA with players like Glutony and MK Leo appearing in the top 2, consistently now. Um, yeah, you were talking about how some of these players are still unsigned.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about Riddles a little bit because I
Let's.
was very impressed with Riddle's performance
Mm-hmm.
throughout Pound. I mean, maybe like definitely one of the best in Canada.
Yes.
Obviously, one of the best in all of NA. Maybe the best Shoto player in
Right.
NA. I mean, I so I kind of have a thing for guys who pick up these Shoto characters just because it because they're just so hated amongst a lot of the diehard Smash community, right? They don't like how it shakes up the meta. I absolutely love it. I think the inclusion of Ryu and Ken was just so genius. And then
Yeah.
to see Terry and Kazuya now has been really cool. So I love that Riddles is doing work with these characters. I love that he is coming and showing really great prowess from Canada, and but yeah, he's not signed yet. Like I think he's going to gotta be one of the next best players to be snapped up by one of these bigger organizations, just like Spargo was. What do you think?
I agree with you. I'm hearing industry chatter. I think a player of like, Riddles and Zamba and some of these guys here of their stature
Yeah, and Zamba,
consistently
exactly.
placing, at these top, spots, whether it's right outside of 8 or in 8. But not only that, but also doing what they're supposed to do when they get picked up as a top player, creating content and experiences. I've been hearing the background chatter, and I think both are working on a sponsorship. Now I don't know with who, but Riddles, uh, to do what he does is very, very difficult. I just like yourself and everybody else, on Shacknews, we grew up playing fighting games. I grew up playing fighting games on a directional pad. I couldn't imagine trying to put in Kazua's or Terry's inputs with a control stick. That just sounds it doesn't wrap in my brain
Mhm.
properly. But he's making it look like very, very effortless. And I think he performed very, very well. Terry is a tough opponent. His Kazua definitely had some clippable
Yeah.
moments as well. That oh good lord. The match with him versus Bacon was certainly an experience to see. But I will say this, as great as those characters are, they do struggle in some matchups. They are fighting
Yeah.
game characters, but you're in the world of Smash, and characters like Fox and Pikachu, they're going to have their day with you. And Light proved exactly that. He had a very swift 3-0 handed to Riddles. But
Uh-huh.
Riddles came back and, had a couple matches and losers. But Riddles, I hope if you're watching this, you get picked up soon, dude. You do great work for Canada. Come on, man. We need it.
So let's use that to segue into this next topic from Pound, because obviously for esports organizations to pick up these players, there has to be money coming in from tournaments, right?
Uh-huh.
And according to HBox, the money coming in is not quite worth it. So there was a tweet that HBox put out showing his payment from his second place, his second place winnings, and I believe it was something like $888
Sure.
and change, which to me is not bad for a weekend. I mean,
Sure.
obviously, travel costs, hotel costs, things like that would, you know, I mean, you could easily spend $1,000 just on your travel and your hotel and whatever, depending on how you do it. So yeah, there's the $888.30. How do you feel about this? Just out there, just putting it out there, tweet, just slamming the.
I don't like it. I
Yeah.
don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it because first of all, and this is something that we all say we sympathize on, but then like we still want to get on Twitter and say shit. And I'm not going to tell somebody what they can and can't tweet. I get it, but I just like HBox, dude. Like, why are you adding more fuel to this fire? Did you need to tweet that? I mean, they're already, Pound is already under a lot right now because, of course, IBDW's tweets. There's a couple other tweets about how production handled the commentary, and then segueing from commentary to the stream. Like there weren't a lot of pronouns on stream for some of the players, and I know
Okay.
that really upsetted a lot of people. Respectfully, I get it. Um, but I want everybody to know too that if you're going back and watching this like specific part, that VG definitely has everybody's best interest in mind, and they are human beings, and that they made a mistake. Payouts, of course, are not a mistake. That is just, dude, we're hosting 1 billion events a year. Pound and Genesis happen to be back-to-back weekends. There's Low Tide City happening just after this. I mean, this one's kind of caught in the middle of the fray right now. So, you didn't get the payout that you were looking for, but I'm not one to count somebody else's pockets. I know HBox is doing
Mhm.
very well for himself,
Oh,
but what
as the ambassador of Coinbase, I would hope
that's
so.
right. But what did you gain by tweeting, that you only got $800? Like what is that trying to I just don't get it. I don't get it. But if
Yeah.
anybody has the opportunity and the power to change that, it is what HBox is doing at Coinbase. So hopefully he's gonna bookmark that tweet and maybe look back on it and like, hey, I can fix this. I don't fucking
Mhm.
know. I just didn't really I don't like when people dogpile and start dunking on them. Like, because it always starts off as one thing
Uh-huh.
and then the domino effects into like, yeah, and then there was that one time I asked Gimmer for a water, and the dude was like, "Get your own water." Never coming back to pay. Like it just opens up the door for weird shit.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like, of if anybody is going to be complaining about a paycheck, like HBox, that's pretty tone deaf, right? Like, I mean, come on, homie. We all know you're getting the fat bag for from Coinbase, from Liquid, from
Mhm.
Chunky Soup, from
Yeah.
Crab, whatever, the big from Big Crab. Uh, yeah, like he's not doing, or bad or anything. He's doing okay, right? So if anyone's going to complain about their winnings, it should be somebody who doesn't have all of those things going for them, obviously. Um, but like Liquid most likely paid for his airfare, to go to the event. They most
Maybe,
likely
yeah.
paid for his hotel. I'm sure a lot of that didn't come out of his own pocket. Um, it it just yeah, and it just it you're absolutely right with like it also being an event that is kind of in the middle of other events.
Sure.
Melee did not have, I'm assuming Melee did not have nearly as many entrants as Ultimate had,
It did
so
not.
that's going to affect the payout as well. Obviously, the amount of entrants directly correlates to what the payouts are going to look like. So yeah, I completely agree with you. It's just not a good look. It's not a good move.
Yeah.
Uh, Take your $888 and be happy. You know what I mean? Like, be
Well,
happy
and or
you're got a second place. Like, because
yeah.
is it all about the $888, or is the second place in itself something to be proud of? Right? Because isn't that in itself something to be proud of? Getting second place at Pound.
Right, that's what I'm thinking too. And if anything, I feel like this energy should be more directed towards. And again, I hate. Yeah, I don't want them to be the scapegoat for the melee players, gripes and grievances. But the energy really should be saved for Nintendo. I mean, Pound is, excuse me, Pound has been an event that's been around for a very, very long time. Of course, the first five installments historically were the first five installments. Then VG purchased, the IPs and all that type of stuff from whoever had Pound before. Did Pound 2016 at the Ritz Carlton. 3 years later, we did it at Xanadu, and then here we are another 3 years. Here we are back at Xanadu again. And I just feel like, yes, it's not a lot of money, but dude, like, what do we gain by tweeting? Like, we tweet the same shit at the big house every year. Haha, I got eighth place at the big house. I got just enough to get my venue fee back and go home after 3 days of competing. Like, we tweet these same things as if like we did not grow up with these tournaments. If nothing has changed from the overall landscape of whatever happened with top players, it hasn't changed like, on the back end of things with production. We're still not getting any money either. So, Acebox, I'm really sorry that whatever, but hopefully, your tweets can maybe signal boost to other companies that we do need money, like Coinbase. Maybe Coinbase can get in and do what they're supposed to do at Pound. So you can help the VG boys out. They just want what's best.
Yeah. Now, this being the year's first Smash World Tour Platinum event. So, Smash World Tour, if you aren't aware, viewers, is a worldwide Smash circuit that we covered extensively for its 2021 inaugural year. And now it's back, and it's better than ever. It's obviously teamed up with a ton of VGBC events plus other events. And you can apply to have your own in-person event qualify as a Smash World Tour. They have a platinum, diamond, whatever ranking system down for each event. So even your little monthly in your locals could qualify as like a bronze event if you had enough people show up. But being that this is the first platinum event for the first big Smash World Tour showing, should the payouts and should
Right.
the money be a little bit, shouldn't it be a little bit bigger though? I
It's
mean,
tough.
does
Well,
HBox have a point?
I think he does have a point. And Pound being one of the I think it's the first of the platinum ones so far.
Yeah.
And I think it's one of very few. And, just like PG stats, there's a certain breakdown on where you can be gold, bronze, platinum, like you
Uh-huh.
said. Um, Pound, of course, is a legendary event. I do think that it should be platinum. Pound's a big deal, but I also feel like, we also still have to be realistic here. Yes, it is $250,000 in grand prizes at the end of this thing, but like throughout it, this is still a community-based
Yeah.
project, and it's just baby steps. But what I don't want us to do is to get comfortable shitting on something like
Mhm.
this. The Smash World Tour is not made by just like a faceless mega corporation. This was made by people who you have been over their house
By
multiple
fans.
times, by friends, like friends
Yeah.
that you grew up with.
Friends
Like
and
we
fans.
Yeah, friends,
Yeah.
fans, and family. Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of people who probably aren't going to make a lot of money on the world tour, but who are still on it just because they want to be a part of history and help. So I just, again, we just got to humanize, what is actually going on in the community. Yes, this is a huge spectacle. It's like fucking Disney World for Smash. Like, it's a big deal. But at the end of the day, it is ran by human beings who eat, breathe, shit, and sleep just like you do. Be nice, okay? HBox, $800 sucks. There'll be another one.
Now, there are positive things that people can do if they want to see these prize pools increase, right? Like tying in with the next platinum event, I believe Double Down in Vegas. Now, so it looks like Gimmer is kind of taking a page out of the Valve playbook here,
Mm.
and how the international is sort of fan funded by people who are able to buy like the Dota 2 compendium, whatever that ties in with whatever international. And I believe those are now being that like that sort of thing is also being sold for Smash World Tour events. Isn't that true?
Yes, absolutely. Just trying to so you want to like create this big experience, you want people to support it, but then also like the bigger you make it, the harder it is for people to
Mhm.
sympathize with the people on the other side. Like God, what's like it's like the Wizard of Oz, like I've created this big old ass thing, but then there's like a person actually, pulling all the strings on the opposite side of the curtain. And like it's hard to kind of balance that act. Like I do want the community to be involved and I want them to see things, but I also want them to know that, hey, this is a big deal and treat it that way. I think, obviously using crowd funds to bring in top players is a really cool thing.
Yeah.
I'm a big Capitan Cito fan myself. I play Me Gunner. He's a great Me Gunner. So I want to see him pull up to double down. I think also just the idea of VG being back in Vegas, because mind you guys, they have white labeled and contracted their stream through a lot of organizations in Vegas, but they haven't really physically hosted anything there since their VG Bootcamp Summit, like almost 5 years ago. So this is the first thing that they're doing. And this is a big deal because guess who's not at Evo this year? That's right, Smash. So
Yeah.
VG, of course, stepping up to the plate in a big way. It is, kind of tough, that a lot of these guys just can't naturally be there. But this is the community's opportunity to say, hey, I want to be more involved. I want to see my favorite player there. Act like it. It only goes to a good spot.
Yeah, I'd love to see Shuton there. Lots of like you said, lots of great international players through the compendium are going to be there. I think it's a great idea. This
Mhm.
sort of compendium idea, this sort of like crowdfunding, like Valve does for the international. It's a superb idea. It's like they should have been doing it for a while now. I mean, Smash is so grassroots, without Nintendo's involvement in for years and years since the beginning. Now, Smash has always had to be a grassroots kind of thing for esports organizations, for tournaments and everything. Um, I feel like getting fans involved in being able to fund, not only or players coming in internationally to make these events a little more high profile, or even have players, fund part of the prize pool by buying merch or whatever through VG Bootcamp stores, stuff like that. I think all of that is a great idea to maybe get these prize pools up a little bit more to make it a little bit more worth it. In the end, yeah, it just makes everybody happy, right? The fans are happy because they're contributing something towards what they think is a good cause, right? They're contributing their money towards these tournaments that they want to see, towards
Mhm.
players that they want to see play, or merch that they want to wear or show off. And all of that gets pooled, into more money for Smash prize pools, more money for Smash players,
Mhm.
just bigger and better tournaments.
Right. People just have to understand too, on top of that, where this money is actually coming from and where it goes. Like, if I spend all my money throughout the year flying out top players, which is impossible for even Capcom Pro Tour, Tekken World Tour, which is
Mhm.
what this tour is based off of, which is where the community's wants are based off of. Uh, if I spend all my money all year at Double Down and Pound and all these events flying out international players, that's going to severely dip into the $250,000 pop bonus at the end. At the end of the day, being a top professional player, you do have to hold yourself accountable a little bit. Hey, you don't get a choice on where you're from, but you do get a choice on where you're at. And hey, a lot of these events happen in America. The world tour is coming. Figure something out. And of course, I say that very sparingly because I know other countries have different sort of opportunities. But dude, it's about to go down here. Make sure that you can be here, or at least for the ones that matter. Like again, Pound, a platinum event. Double Down might not be platinum, I don't believe, but still a great experience. We're in Las
I
Vegas, so if you're
think it is the next platinum event.
well, if it's the next platinum event, then fans and people going back and watching this, you definitely need to be there. And so, with that in mind, I think again, it's just a really good opportunity for the community to step up in a way that maybe some of the other communities, like again, the Capcom Pro Tour, Tekken World Tour, don't really get to tap into as much. We have a much larger grassroots community on a stage like this than what we see in some of the other fighting games. Those are more like top esport guys. They got jerseys, they got teams, X, Y, and Z. And those are the guys that really get flown out. But we have the opportunity to kind of take that narrative and bring in who we want to see. If you're a fan of, Latin America, fan of Asia, whatever, put your money where your mouth is. Let's get Shuton over here. So
Yeah,
I
let's
hope
do
they
it.
come through.
I got a question for you guys before we roll on. For the folks that are cutting it at the bottom of the stack, or the next generation of people that are coming up in Smash or whatever, how does having no chance at recouping, like you have to
Mhm.
basically either save for years or make it all on one shot like a lotto ticket to hope you get a chance to be shown? Do you think that hurts the growth at the bottom end, where that money is being used to fly in people that have already made it just to get notoriety on the tournament? Like,
I think in some ways, yes. I mean, obviously as an upcoming player, it's going to be difficult for you to get funds to fly out to majors and
Hmm.
secure lodging for all these different places and all these different cities.
for
Um,
example, the person that won the melee, would they have even been able to cover their hotel room and flight? Just if you were
Oh,
the
with
grand
that,
champion of melee?
with
I highly
Zane,
doubt it.
yeah,
Eh,
probably not. I mean, I'm if
Because I noticed it's
HBox got
$1,100 for me for a round trip ticket just for the
yeah.
plane.
Yeah, if HBox got $888, I have to imagine Zane's payout was somewhere around, $1,400.
mhm.
So he probably just broke even on hotel costs, lodging, and things like that. Now, again, Zane being a professional player probably has that covered by, his sponsor organization or whoever. Um, but yes, for a upcoming player, someone who is just the best in their little town or whatever, who thinks they have a shot, yeah, it obviously would be difficult to go to majors. Obviously, if you had a major that was in driving distance to you, that's the one maybe you would want to go to
Mhm.
year after year to try to cut your teeth on the big tournaments. That way, it would be a little bit cheaper for you. Like kids here where I live on the eastern side of Washington in Spokane, but there's a major over in Seattle with Port Priority. So a lot of guys here, that's the one they wait for. They wait for Port Priority and they drive over to Seattle, and that's where they take their shot. You know,
Yeah.
yeah. But I think for upcoming players, though, there's lots of opportunities though that they didn't have before, like online tournaments.
Mhm.
Like there's lot like the coin box or whatever. There's just there's lots of ways I think to make yourself known without placing top 8 in majors nowadays.
I think so too. Especially for what some of these organizations really want from you. I mean, of course, more than anything else, they want you to be good. That's why players like MKLeo and Spargo, who they stream, but they're not like content machines like ESAM is, and like some of the guys,
Hmm.
around his, field of play. But when you're that good, the tickets kind of sell themselves. And ESAM, of course, is a phenomenal ass player. He plays very well, but he also creates a lot of cool Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch content that brings more eyes back to PG, which is what they want. So I do agree, Brian. Like there's a lot of different ways, to really put yourself on the map. I think too, and what for myself as a commentator, of course, I'm speaking from one of the three angles that you can really take in the community if you want to get involved: commentary, streaming, or being a top player. I had to put up a lot of money on my own. I flew myself to a lot of things. I worked 3 jobs, and you just have to do it with the idea that this is going to work. Like I'm putting in this time and effort. I'm doing the things. There is no real rule book. There is no real template set, but it just feels right. Now, again, financially, I may have been coming from a slightly different position than maybe the next person. They might not have that same sort of flexibility, but it is a risk that you have to take, just like anything else, like even traditional sports or wanting to become an actor or a model. You have to put your money
Yeah.
up and put yourself out there. And it sucks, but for some people, it most certainly works. I know what some people will do is they'll create relationships with some of these top players and they'll all move in together. They're practicing, they're getting better, they're leveling up. Now we can all level up together. We're all
That
moving together.
that also was not such a great idea for the Smash community in some
It wasn't.
cases.
Yeah, it wasn't. It wasn't, but that was one avenue that people took. But you're right, it was not the best one given the climate at the time. But
Yes.
sometimes those are just hell. I am in New Jersey. Like I'm moved here because there's events here on the east, and then also there's stuff over in New York. So I'm like, okay, cool, I'm gonna be here for a while. But again, it's just all about the risk and how much you're willing to take it. Hopefully, these next generation of top melee and ultimate players really dig deep and are like, hey, save a little bit of money, go be somewhere for a little bit, and just see what I can turn it into. Because I believe we live in the era of creating content. If you suck, at least be funny, and that way you get these teams to look at you.
Yeah. Absolutely. So before we move off from Smash, let's talk a little bit more about Double Down, the next Platinum Smash World Tour event coming up soon in Vegas. Let's get some predictions. You think it's going to be another Gluttony Leo final? I mean, what do you think this final is going to look like? Or let's make it a little bit easier. Do you think it's just going to be another internationally dominated final?
It could be.
Especially
I
with all the
mean,
players that are being invited.
let's be real, man. With as much international talent that's being invited, a lot of those guys are bringing characters that we don't really get to see very often. Now, there's like I play this really cool top tier, and you play me gunner, so I'm supposed to win. However, matchup unfamiliarity, of course, we've seen in every esport title is definitely a thing. And a person who don't know much, you ain't gonna grow much on the stakes, at least not in the moment. So hopefully they come over and teach these American players something a little bit different. I'm excited for it. Also, Pound, we were missing Spargo and Tweak. Spargo, of course, is another very, very talented player. Still technically international, coming through from Mexico, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Tweak, of course, is kind of hit a rough patch. That happens for everybody. We hit a rough patch in whatever it is that we're doing, and we bounce back the best way we can. It's very hard for me to call it. I know the community will probably want to see Leo and Gluttony again. Of course, Spargo thrown into the mix will always be a good thing to see, but I can't count out Light and Tweak either. Tweak has days where he is the best player in the world, and he has some days where he's not. But I'm really excited to see how that one's all going to shake out. It's hard for me to call it, but I would expect some mean upsets. If all those international players get voted in, community funded in rather, that's going to make for something really, really scary for some of our guys, man, because those guys play some really obscure ass characters.
Yeah, it is supposed to be an international focused super major, so we're definitely I don't know about definitely, but we're probably going to see a more internationally focused top 8 again. But between Tweak and Light, do you think those are our two best chances for hometown heroes to make the top 8?
I think so. Tweak, again, is one of those players where he wears his heart on his sleeve, which is something I think is missing from a lot of just esport individuals in general. Letting the community know that my heart is in it, and there are things that definitely affect me for better or for worse. And I think that we're seeing kind of the opposite end of that with Tweak, where Tweak is not really placing well, and so because that's starting to get to him, but Tweak has been playing for a very long time, so I know that he has the prowess to bounce back from this rough spot. Same with Light. Light is just getting closer and closer, inching more and more forward to getting that grand final spot. Fox is an absolute menace in every Smash game, just about. But in this one in particular, there are some characters that can fuck Fox right the hell up.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, a lot of them are controlled by players of his level. So, but he's getting closer. I think, more than anything, I think he's always had the slight edge on Riddles, if I'm not mistaken. But the fact that he handled Riddles so handily, like it was just very like wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. I think it goes to show that he's going to be in a good spot. Brian, I do think that if nobody else, Light and then Tweak shortly after, they're going to be our only hope at winning this.
Nice. Yeah, good luck to both of them. Good luck to everybody that's going to be at Double Down. Can't wait to see it. Are you or Phil? Do you know if Phil's going to be there, or are you going to be there?
I am planning on going.
Okay.
That's my birthday weekend-ish. Gamo is actually
Happy
just
birthday.
the weekend before. Well, thank you. Gamo that weekend before the 4th of July weekend is actually my birthday weekend. But I do want to continue my party and go over to Las Vegas. I want one of those Oprah Winfrey parties where her parties for like 3 months. She just doesn't let it go. So I'm going to try to go over to Vegas and have some fun there. And I think Phil is probably going to drive up. I mean, he's just in SoCal, so that's a 2.5, 3 hour drive. So hopefully we can both get there and like really hit the ground running with predictions, because that one is going to get spooky.
Oh yeah, I'd love to see it. That would be great to see. Even if you guys are there on Monday, do another remote Wide World of Electronic Sports from Vegas. That would be the way to go for sure. I would be jealous if I couldn't get down there to do a Wide World of Esports. We'll see what happens. Yeah, that's going to be our Double Down. Yeah, live sauce talk. That would be incredible. That would be the town to do it for sure. We need to start some planning for sure. We need to start some planning right now. Yeah. If you want to get in on this planning, though, if you want to get in on all of this excellent Shacknews content, what should the people do, Rodney? I think there's a few things they can do.
There are a lot of those few things that they should do. First and foremost, if you're already here on twitch.tv Shacknews and you haven't hit that follow button, if Bryan and myself and Krabs have not convinced you, nothing is going to convince you, okay? But you know what? Use this message right now as your incentive to press that follow button. If you really, really like us, maybe shoot us over some cheddar. Hit that subscribe button. There's a lot of cool emotes. I know we talk about all the time, but Donovan Erskine, the most handsome emote that we have to date. Go ahead and subscribe.
Twitch.
The best emote on Twitch right there. I mean, boom, you heard it first. Go ahead and support us. Hit us up. Of course, we have Instagram as well, too, and Twitter. For those of us who might not be as Twitch and YouTube savvy, twitter.com/Shacknews. We actually have 2 YouTube channels, if I'm not mistaken, Shacknews and Gamer Hub TV. For all the latest and the greatest interviews, of course, clips from the show, DVD, Denny Von Doom. He's going to take all these wonderful little tidbits that myself and Bryan already talked about and section them up a perfect type of way. That way you can go back and watch the parts that you just want to watch. But of course, hit subscribe on there as well, too. And maybe leave a like on the video. Who knows? We've been good boys this year. We deserve a like or two. Also,
Greg wants those likes. He needs them. He feeds off of them.
He feeds off of them, okay? Greg does a lot of great work. Greg Burke goes to work, okay? Big shout out to him as well. Also, if you're in the same neighborhood but maybe want to peek over into one of our other houses, then head on over to Shack Pets, okay? It's free on iOS and the Android store. Hit it up. Look, all the doom scrolling going on in the world, Elon Musk buying Twitter. There's a lot of stuff happening over in the Ukraine still. Don't forget to send them some love as well. But if you want to maybe break away from all that, head over to Shack Pets and don't doom scroll, but happy scroll. There's pets there. It's like Tinder.com, but the animals get to battle and they're cute animals too. Kittens, dogs, puppies, all types of stuff, man. If it's an animal, it's going to be on Shack Pets. And it's just a good way to break away from the craziness that's going on in today's society. Also, Instagram as well. Shacknews Media, not Shacknews. We're working on getting that Shacknews handle back. Facebook is a little bit different than Twitter. One day we're going to have it. But in the meantime, head over to Shacknews Media, where DVD, once more, big shout out to him, has broken up all these tidbits and he's posted them there as well. So for you Insta scrollers, Instagrammers, Instagrammeries, I don't know what they call them these days, we got you covered on there as well.
I like Instagrammeries.
Instagrammeries.
Just letting you.
Sounds
letting
memorific.
You know. It does. Yeah, absolutely. Make sure you're doing all of those things for Shacknews. And make sure you head over to shacknews.com and check out Mercury as well. We don't talk about Mercury as much anymore. We should, though, because it's only $1 a month. It's our subscription service. It's how you can, getting the Sauce Talk delivery.
I'm getting the Sauce Talk early these days. Big shout out to Dre Charles, my mans.
I
needed a coffee before the show. I'm sorry, y'all.
You need your Dunkin'.
Yeah, I needed my Dunkin'.
All right, we'll get to that with this. We'll get to that when it's Sauce Talk time. But until then, yes, make sure you check out Mercury. Make sure you subscribe to our own subscription service. It's as little as $1 a month. It's so very convenient. And Denny Von Doom's got the Dunkin' on deck as well. Got Dunkin' everywhere. They love it in Chicago. They love it in Jersey. Everybody loves
seriously.
Dunkin'.
There's a When I went to Chicago, there was literally a Dunkin' on like every corner. It was ridiculous. It was like how we have Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid everywhere, just in case like you die somewhere they can fix you up. It's just Dunkin' everywhere in Chicago. I'm like, you know what? I'm kind of okay with this because Dunkin' has the best jelly donuts out there.
All right. The Sauce Talk is creeping. It's creeping.
It's creeping in. We're early.
Shut the door. We got to shut the door. Slam it back in there. Get back, Sauce Talk. All right. Let's get back to some esports news. However, there is a lot of esports news to talk about still, and a lot of esports going on in the world. So let's talk about some LCS, some League of Legends. The Championship Series playoffs are going on right now, and holy shit, Evil Geniuses is just on a tear. I don't know if you guys saw this or not, but EG, one of my favorite esports teams,
same,
just putting on a phenomenal performance in the just feasting in the playoffs. So they lost in a close match to Team Liquid, like in the second round, I believe. So pretty early on in the playoffs, lost to Team Liquid, got sent to the lower bracket. Thank goodness there was a lower bracket, because after meeting FlyQuest and only dropping one game to FlyQuest in the lower bracket, they just went on a tear, steamrolling Cloud9 3-0. Steamrolling Team Liquid in a revenge match, 3-0. The team that put them down in the losers bracket just came right back. No 3-2 this time, just complete 3-0, dominated, and then made their way to grand finals to match up against the 100 Thieves, your favorite 100 Thieves, and dominated them too. Sweeped them 3-0.
Yeah.
Congratulations to EG. These playoffs were very exciting. This news is just great for them. What'd you think?
I think, these storylines just keep telling themselves, and it's getting, more and more fun to watch every week. I think when we first started covering League of Legends, the storyline was pretty much like heading in a direction where we're like, okay, like TSM, Cloud9, like, we kind of know what to expect. But now, more teams are kind of stepping up to the plate and kind of putting their hands in just to see what they can get out of this. I think I think the biggest one here was TSM and kind of the restructure of their team, and like they're kind of building from scratch. They've reached that point where, like, in a movie, you do the first movie, the sequel, the trilogy, you know what I'm saying? Boom, it's done. And then the fourth film is always like the reboot or something. So they're kind of like in that reboot phase right now.
Yeah.
But because of that, other teams have been able to kind of step up to the plate. And I actually had the opportunity to like read a little bit about, what went down. And yes, 100 Thieves got second place. All right, I get it. But you know what though? They're holding their heads high, and they're very happy about what the future of League of Legends is going to be for them. Second place is a really big deal, especially with just the platform that, League as a company has built for themselves, but also for everything that League of Legends, or excuse me, not League of Legends, but 100 Thieves has kind of brought to the community. They're like, hey, this is one kind of avenue that we didn't quite do as well as we wanted in, but second is such a big deal. I mean, and it's not first, but second place is huge. And so big shout out to 100 Thieves for having a very great mindset. I know Asif linked us some other esports individuals having great mindsets about losing, like MKLA as well. 100 Thieves, of course, following suit and just letting the world know, hey, we lose, but we gonna be back though.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't just for the viewers. This is a seasonal playoff. This isn't, the playoffs for the entire year. This doesn't mean EG is the 2022 champions.
No.
We still have a long way to go until we get to the Worlds at the end of the year. But this does mean EG is currently first place for the year. They won this seasonal playoff. It gives them a great seeding heading into this upcoming summer split.
Sure.
This is going to be hopefully EG's year, I think. And hopefully they can take this all the way through Worlds. Like I said, though, this is just the end of spring. We still got summer and the rest of the year to get through. But you think this might be good tidings for EG? Maybe a good foreshadowing for them?
I think so. But you know what? It puts a big target on your back now too, because everybody's hungry. They have a big target on their back, and EG is my second favorite team. But I would like to see, I would like to see the reformation of whatever TSM is going to bring to the table when they start to get things back in line for themselves. And of course, I would like to see my 100 Thieves, get that first place. But I think more than anything else, is going to make for great storytelling. Of course, EG, they've just been going really, really hard here these last so many weeks and months. And I think even though, again, this isn't like the big one, this still kind of sets the tone and the pacing for what we may expect in the next coming season. Spring is a really big deal. These events are now about to be back in person again, so everybody's working with that newly reformed human in person energy. But of course, still stay safe, stay vaxxed. You know what I'm saying? Back up off the people. But I think we just kind of mix all that in to the electrifying spectacle that is League of Legends. It just makes sense for Evil Geniuses to rise to the top the way they did. But we'll see what summer looks like. I got faith in my Thieves, okay?
All right. Yeah, we absolutely will. Congratulations to EG. Congratulations to 100 Thieves and to everyone who, had a good showing through the playoffs this past week. It was very exciting, League of Legends. I normally don't get that excited about the game anymore, but this definitely got me a little excited just because of how incredible that showing was. Let's move on, though. You talked about expectations.
Uh-oh.
And one game that has definitely changed in our expectations constantly has obviously been Overwatch 2.
Yes.
I mean, we all expected Overwatch 2 to just be more Overwatch 1 when it was first announced.
Mm-hmm.
And we all expect Overwatch 2. We expected it to just kind of quietly disappear and fade away into the ether and become vaporware after every lead they ever had, after Jeff Kaplan left and then all their, top talent followed suit.
Sure.
And then we kind of expected Overwatch 2 to just kind of turn into this co-op sort of focused game where it was going to be more based around, you and 4 friends or 5 other friends fighting against the robots and
Right.
taking those seasonal events that Overwatch did and turning them more into an actual narrative game.
Sure.
But now it looks like the expectation is that Overwatch 2 is just really fun, and it's a lot more of how Overwatch 1 was when it first began.
Right.
Yeah, the closed beta or a alpha, I guess, test has been going on for a little
Mm-hmm.
while now.
Mm-hmm.
The NDA has just been lifted, though, so
Ooh.
people are now talking about it, and we have users over at Shacknews. A buddy of mine actually on Shacknews was talking about his experience playing the game,
Sure.
and based on this, third hand anecdotal experience, though, it looks like the game is very much more deathmatch focused. It is still a team game. It's very much a team game. But
Mm.
whereas when Overwatch first came out, you could kind of carry your team if you were good enough. If you were playing a damage focused role and you were really good and you just knew the game better than everybody else, you could carry a team to victory.
Right.
But as the game matured, as the metas came out, no longer was it like that. Obviously, you could never really carry a moment on your shoulders. It was always about the team fight. Uh, Whenever one of your squad was downed, your team fight was pretty much lost at that point. You
Mm-hmm.
would then have to reset. Lots of
Right.
resetting, lots of lost team fights
Yep. Yep.
is basically what Overwatch turned into. Whereas what Overwatch kind of became. Now, Overwatch 2 looks like it is much more going back to that core focus of if you lose your support in a team fight, it might not be over. You
Right.
could still turn it around with just your skill if
Mm-hmm.
you're good enough at a certain character. They've
Right.
really shaken up a lot how pretty much all the characters work. Some characters haven't gotten their complete shakeups yet, but they are pretty much reworking almost everybody. Crowd control has kind of been taken away from all of the various characters that had it, and it's all kind of been focused into just tanks.
Right.
Tanks are basically now your crowd control. I believe the sleep dart is the only sole crowd control item
Mm-hmm.
that is still available on a non-tank character.
Right.
Um, Excuse me. I just really like what I'm hearing about what Overwatch 2 is becoming.
Sure.
Because I loved Overwatch when it first came out. I thought
Mm-hmm.
it was uh, just a ton of fun. It was, to me, it was Team Fortress 3 basically.
Mm.
To a lot of people, that's what it was. It was just a natural progression from that game.
Sure.
And yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. And it looks like we don't have to look forward much longer because Overwatch 2 closed beta is starting tomorrow. So
Yes.
people are going to be able to get their hands on it. You can go to the website right now, the official website. You can sign up, opt into it. That doesn't necessarily mean you'll get into it, but good chances are you will if you watch Twitch on the 27th this Wednesday, because it looks like beta access is also being turned into Twitch drops. And
Yep.
it's going to be on every channel you can think of. If
Mm-hmm.
Krabs, if you scroll down on that page right there, it actually shows like the list of all the channels that you will be active for Twitch drops on the beta, and it's ridiculous. Like the list just goes on and on and on. Just all
I,
these people that it'll be available on. So if you
mhm.
want a drop, I feel like you're going to be able to get one.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I think this is a good step in the right direction, just giving everything that was everything. You know what I'm saying? I think, there's a lot of ways to get back on the community's good side. Because that pie chart in which they got blown up on was, very specific in their areas. But I think, making sure that we return to formation on Overwatch will certainly help kind of cushion some of the blow
Yeah.
here. Overwatch 1, of course, like you said, was a spectacle when the first one came out. I could not look. I was in the fighting game community, still am, and I could not pull my boys away from that damn game. I'm like, bro, let's run some Street Fighter, let's run some Tekken. Now we running Overwatch, bro. Like it was some serious shit, and we just hadn't really seen a game bring. Fighting games when a new one comes out, we're gonna pull. Let's grab Tasty Steve for this new one. Let's grab this guy and that guy and that guy, and then you do your thing for a little bit, and then after that, they kind of set the foundation for the community, and then whatever's left builds from there. But Overwatch was the first game in a very long time that we had seen pull everybody in the way they did, and it stuck. And then, of course, when you go that high that quick, you're going to kind of fall off a little bit. And they still, did what they were supposed to. They made some interesting business plays, of course, the Twitch and YouTube thing, whatever. But this seems like a return to formation, and I'm very excited to see what goes down with it. When I was at Genesis, I was in an hour or two long conversation about Overwatch and just the things that we wanted to see. And I'm like, dude, these people in Smash are because Smashers will talk about Smash to the end. At a wedding, at a funeral, Korean barbecue, you bring up Smash, we're going to talk about Smash forever. But Overwatch took over the conversation, and this is when I knew that the stuff was serious. So very excited to see where this is going to go. I've seen that they've been dropping new characters, and they dropped one new character, but then they're also kind of revamping some of the characters that are already there, giving them different abilities or adding on to the abilities that they already have, which I think is really good.
Shaken up.
That's such a beautiful thing to see. We need that. Like, we need to make sure that, hey, I have some thoughts and concerns about certain characters. Okay, I'm not saying take the character out. I'm saying just change some things, tweak it so we can have a better experience. And it seems like that's what they're doing with this.
Oh, it absolutely does. And the maps themselves, I hear, are very well constructed. Toronto specifically is a standout. Just with all the things you would want from an arena style shooter, just really nice sight lines, great ambush spots, great sniping spots, but lots of flanking paths to everywhere. So, you're not really cornered. You can always find a different way around a certain spot, or you can always find a different way to flank your enemy, which I think is going to be, it's just what people want when they play a game like this. Going back to arena shooter roots,
Sure.
that's the core of good map design.
That's right. Absolutely. And it starts there. And I think Overwatch 2, like the developers have definitely been listening, which again, it comes almost kind of like a surprise because most developers just do not listen to the community. But I think, again, given the climate, they better start listening to what people are saying out here, even if it is angry tweets. But Overwatch 2 seems to be handled, with the proper hands this time. And I'm very excited. I've always been god awful at shooters. Anybody who's ever watched even one episode of this show knows that I'm absolutely dog shit. And I've gone on record to say it multiple times. But Overwatch is my type of business because, again, the characters feel innovatively different enough where I can bring something different to each match depending on the combination, the arena, whoever's on my team. So very excited for this. I know we got some people in the background of Shacknews. I know we can't really say, but they've been messing around with Overwatch 2, and I'm very excited to see what they are going to bring to the table as well. Because the Shacknews, we have some pretty fierce competitors. Maybe not in like Overwatch, but like Halo, of course, Quake, everything. Like, we got some killers here, Bryan.
Absolutely, I'm one of them for sure.
Yes, sir.
Now, I'm very excited. I'm more excited for Overwatch 2 than I definitely was before. I just feel like this could be a really good redemption story for Blizzard because this was the project that we all kind of just wrote off, right? After they lost the lead, after they lost a lot of their top talent, the people who made Overwatch were gone. A lot of people just kind of, myself included, I just kind of thought, well, there's no way the second game is going to shape up to be what we want. With Activision having its grubby hands on everything, and I really do think that Blizzard realizes how important that franchise is to their overall bottom line and just to their overall appearance to the video game community in general. Like Overwatch, the original game just struck such a huge chord with a lot of gamers, with all of the representation that it has, with all of the diversity that it shows, with its pick up and play, but difficult to master kind of gameplay. Just everything about it really, hit gamers hard. It really made a lot of people fall in love with that universe.
Yeah.
And yeah, I feel like Blizzard knows that, and they know how important this game really is. And yeah, I don't think they're gonna let it. I don't think they would put out a shitty sequel. I don't think they would put out
No.
something that was just, a map pack with, a balance patch or whatever, and call it,
Mhm.
a second game. They're really, I think they're doing the right thing, like you said, with shaking up all the characters, coming out with excellent new maps, and we still haven't we still don't know what that PvE focus is, that co-op
Yep.
narrative focus truly is going to encompass yet. So I think there's still a lot more surprises in store for this game, and we're going to be covering them.
I agree. I've always felt like, I know we talked about in the last episode, Overwatch was kind of I know it's not the same type of game as like Fortnite or Apex, but I'm a firm believer that if it wasn't for Overwatch kind of opening that door to what these more diverse shooters can be, and like, the levels that we can take it, they were just early to it. And because they were early, they were the first ones to kind of stumble along the way. And where they stumbled, some of the other companies were able to kind of step in and, do their thing and learn from their mistakes. But I think it's time for Overwatch to kind of reclaim that and grab it and, like, really do what they were supposed to do with it the first time. And we're going to see, we got Fortnite players on Jimmy Fallon and shit like that. I think it's time to get some Overwatch people on TV. I think it's coming soon. We're going to get our Ninja. We're going to get our Dr. Lupo. We're going to get our Shroud, guys like that, and gals as well, at that level of living off of Overwatch. And I couldn't think of a better, more diverse shooter aesthetically to do it
Yeah,
with than Overwatch.
absolutely. Yeah, so make sure you opt in on the website if you want to play it tomorrow. Or, like I said, check out one of, I don't know, 200 different Twitch channels on Wednesday. And they will, just make sure that they have the, drops enabled, and make sure you have your Twitch account linked up with your Blizzard account, and should be good to go.
Yes,
Let's
sir.
move on to news from another shooter getting, excuse me, another new character, another new
Mm-hmm.
season, and that is my favorite battle royale, Apex Legends. I love Apex Legends.
It's a good game.
It's a great game, one that we definitely have talked about a lot, and looks like their new season, Saviors, is coming out May 10th. Rod, why don't you tell us about this new character that we got to look at?
So that character, I believe, Mr. Newcastle, right? I think we
Yes,
talked about it
Newcastle.
before we got on. I was like, yo, that is the baddest ass name ever. Okay, can we rank like badass names? It's like Jack Knife, is in there somewhere.
Uh-huh.
Ryan Seacrest is another one. Can we agree with that? It's
Is
pretty great.
Ryan Seacrest the badass name?
It's a pretty badass name.
I don't want to be on this boat anymore.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Don't jump off yet.
Too late, drowning.
I think that's the clip right there. Blake Morse. Blake Morse is an amazing name for sure.
Blake Morse is a badass name too. Blake Morse, but
that has cachet, baby.
Yeah, but hold on. I'm pulling up the agenda right here. Hold on. Give me 1 second. It's so Jackson Newcastle, okay? That is literally the most badass anything. Like, I was sold just off the name, but of course there's footage, there's everything else that kind of came with it here. I'm pulling it up on Twitter right now. And yes, like that is just I don't have any words for. We talk about the diversity needed for some of these games. Like, again, coming from Smash, we're just not seeing it. Okay, like we don't get any black characters. You know what I'm saying? Like there's no other character. There's no characters that look like me. There's no characters with cool names. There's none of that. But you come over to some of these shooters, and God, Fade. Last time we were just on the show, I think it was an episode or two ago, we were talking about that. Of course,
Yeah.
Jackson Newcastle. Like, come on, Brian. That's some gangster shit.
I agree with you that Smash Brothers Ultimate would be better if the next DLC character was Stringer Bell.
Delete the part where I said Ryan Seacrest too, Krabs. I don't actually want that to go up on YouTube.
No, that's staying. That is in the canon of Shacknews lore.
What have I done?
Back to Jackson Newcastle. So it looks like he's Bangalore's brother. Bangalore being one of the first legends in the game. She is kind of like an assault character. She has like a smoke shield. She also like calls down a bombardment as her ultimate and everything. She's a pretty good character. She definitely was a little weak early on, but they've buffed and really balanced the legends out, which is one of my favorite things about Apex Legends, is that they've really gone out of their way to balance all of them and make sure they all feel good to play and they all have a way to contribute to the team, right? So that you're not just playing the same 3 characters every single match. So yeah, I really like that, and I think this new character won't be any different. But yeah, I like that he's Bangalore's brother. I like that they're gonna
Right.
tie
There's some
in that
lore.
lore. Well, Apex Legends, like they're all about the lore, though, aren't they? Like all of their trailers have all been
Right.
really great cinematic pieces.
They have. Well, and I think that's great too. I think, when you look at some more established franchises, it just even out of the shooter genre, like when you look at some of the more established franchises, these are characters that you have grown up with. I don't really need to know the lore between Ryu and Ken, Kazu and Heihachi, Mario and Luigi. Like we just know. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody loves John Leguizamo Luigi, right? Am I right? No? Okay. Anyway. When I think of what some of these newer franchises are doing, they're creating backstories and universes for their characters so you can, become a little bit more familiarized and, relatable with them. And so
Yeah.
I think what they're doing with Apex is phenomenal. And on top of that too, the designs have just been absolutely phenomenal from start to finish. These are just characters where like if you didn't even want to play shooters, if you didn't want to play Apex, some of these characters look just badass enough where it's like, you know what, I didn't want to play, but I'm gonna jump in and do my thing.
How long has Apex had PvE kaiju battles?
I don't know. And this monster that they show in this trailer does have a significant role in this upcoming season. It's going to be a hot spot on the map, if you will. That's going to be the hot drop for this new season, is going to be this monster. And I don't know if there's going to be fighting around it or there's going to be fighting the monster, with other teams, like kind of like cooperating with other teams until the monster is dead and then, trying to kill each other for the loot that it dropped or whatever.
I only brought this up because Call of Duty did their big announcement today where you have the kaiju battle against Godzilla and King Kong, and it looks kind of exactly like this. I wasn't sure if they were running side by side or if it was just one of these Deep Impact / Armageddon.
Yeah, I think it might be one of those concurrent development situation things, or it could be, one dev heard scuttlebutt from another that they were doing this and decided that it was a good idea and they would also do it. I feel like this is probably the new trend for battle royales. You got to shake them up. You got to make things interesting.
Yes.
PUBG had a giant chicken kaiju event just recently. There was a giant rubber chicken going around the map, and it had rockets, and it would stomp players and whatever, and you could shoot it to get high value loot crates off of it and everything. So it looks like PUBG did it first, and then Warzone copied, and Apex also.
Yeah, well, everybody wants to be different. No, but everybody's getting in on the same type of shooter, the same sort of feel, but how do we make sure that ours stands out differently? There's a very distinct difference between Fortnite and Apex. But speaking of PUBG, not to tangent too much, this is when I knew PUBG was some serious shit. So I went to DreamHack a couple years ago, 2018, Atlanta, one of them. I went there. Now, when you go to an event like DreamHack or PAX or anything, Asif would tell you, like, that's your opportunity to take your little space that they give you and then make it your own. Make it your coolest shit ever. Prime example would be Shacknews wanted to do an invitational at South by Southwest a couple years. The ideas and planning process for that was going to be super cool. It was probably going to stand out differently than most tournaments we've ever been to. So PUBG comes through, and they have this. We all remember the show Hollywood Squares, right? Like we're all sitting in looks to be like a square cabinet. PUBG had a Hollywood Squares type of setup for the players and casters. It was the craziest shit I'd ever seen in my life. I didn't take PUBG or games like that serious until I seen that. That's when I knew that this style of gameplay was here to stay.
When you set up the Hollywood Squares for your tournament layout, yeah, you're serious. Don't be serious. Don't be jealous. Thank you so much for doing it for Shacknews with the subscription there. Very much appreciated. Awesome. Love to see it. Doing it for Shacknews. Thank you again. But yeah, Apex Legends Season 13 Saviors coming out May 10th. It looks like it's going to have a lot of new stuff, not just Jackson Newcastle, Bangalore's brother, being the new
Hmm.
legend. But yeah, this kaiju, this monster thing is absolutely going to be the focus
Yep.
of this new event. It's called Saviors, so I guess maybe you're like saving other people from this monster or whatever, getting rewarded for it, or maybe just getting rewarded in killing the other teams that are also going after this monster.
I
Uh,
got a question. I got a question real quick. When are we gonna get the crossovers? Like, they're coming. Because fighting, like, Melty Blood and Guilty, and
okay,
all those games have kind of come together a
Street
few
Fighter
times.
Tekken.
Boom. So when are we getting that for the arena shooters though? Like, yo, when's Tracer
Pub-
pulling up to Apex? When's it happening? It's coming.
I'm surprised there's not been Team Fortress 2 outfits for Apex, considering they run on the same engine and all that stuff.
yeah,
It's coming. Where is it at? Fortnite and Apex? Like, that's gonna blow the whole world up twice.
yeah. Apex could easily incorporate Source Engine stuff since it is running off of that tech. That would be cool. I mean, yeah, like
Because
PUBG Cross
TF2
Warzone or
invented this
whatever.
thing of the team battle deal where you go and add in the lore and the characters and all that later. They were kind
Pretty
of like
much.
invented this.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. TF2 came out and it was just the classes,
And
and
then it was
have any
Meet the Medic,
backstory.
I think was the first video they put out.
Yeah. Meet the Medic, which was classic. Meet the Pyro, Meet the Spy, and everything. And yeah, they kind of just filled out the lore, and then they used their events, their seasonal events, to as an excuse to make more lore.
Mhm.
Which yeah, Apex is definitely taking a page from that notebook, Krabs. That's a very good point. And
Yeah.
it's a great way to do it. It's a good way to make people care about your characters. It's a great way, or a great way to make fans, to give like those super fans of your games just more to chew on, right? Because
Yes.
like you said earlier, when you play fighting games, you might not necessarily care about the lore so much, right? You're
Sure.
more into like the tech of the game, or just fighting against your friends, or just having a good time. I'm kind of the same way, right? Like I don't need to know the backstory of Ken and Ryu. I don't need to know
Right.
why Kazuya hates his dad or whatever. Like who's throwing who off the cliff next time or whatever. I don't need to know any of that. I just want to play the game. But a lot of people, they do want to know that stuff. They do
Sure.
want that depth to the game. They do want that little bit extra to talk about, or to think about, or to discover. I think they're really doing it right.
I think so too. I'm very excited to see what the future of that franchise is going to bring. We're just living in the era of crossover, and I just had to throw it out there. It has to come sooner or later.
It's a great idea. I mean, obviously, it all runs on Unreal Engine, right? Like why can't you have Fortnite skins and everything? Why can't I have my Me Brawler skin in Fortnite?
The
They should be able
multiverse
to
is
do it,
open.
right?
It's
They
open,
should
Brian.
just be able to easily do that. I don't get it. It's 3 lines of code. But yeah, no, it's definitely a little more difficult than that. But you're absolutely right. The day might come when we do see like a PUBG cross Warzone event, or Apex Legends meets Team Fortress or whatever. I have no idea. We'll see. It could be really cool. It could be terrible. For sure. But yeah, let's move
Hyperscape
on.
v Warzone.
Yeah, really. Let's move on to our last esports story of the day, though. Let's talk some Halo, right? We love to talk Halo. We love Halo. Halo Infinite has been pretty big news.
Mhm.
And it looks like it's big enough that an esports org that was once in the Halo game wants to get back in. That's right. Luminosity Gaming is re-entering the competitive esports Halo scene after 4 years of being
Mhm.
off the game. What do you think about Luminosity coming back to Halo? Do you think they're going to shake it up?
I've always had a lot of respect for Luminosity. They were one of the first really big esports teams that came over to this little grassroots community that we like to call Super Smash Brothers, and they sponsored Abadango back in the day. So, of course, with them coming over, I'm doing my research, and I'm like, oh, these people are very legit. Because again, you
They
and I,
show
we love.
Falco in their intro there. Like they
That's
show,
right.
yeah.
Yeah, see, and so I'm very excited, for them to come back again. I was talking to my roommates earlier about Halo. We actually talked a bit before the show started, because one guy was like, "I didn't even know you did a talk show." I'm like, "Really?" Because that's all I ever talk about on Mondays is this damn talk show. Like, what do you mean? You don't know? But anyway, I was like, "Yeah, we talk a lot about Halo." And we talked about some of the ways that Halo used to be very heavily integrated into the community, and then a slight fall from grace. Some of the communities and some of the organizations kind of backed off a little bit. Luminosity being one of them, but I'm happy that they're back now because Asif is probably watching this. Look, we know Halo had a bit of a rough start in a lot of areas, and if there was ever an esports team that didn't want to get back in, I don't blame them. However, I think that you should get in while the getting is good because it's only going to get better. I think Halo, of course, is just really rising to something even more phenomenal. And with events coming back in person, of course, they've had their own events. I know we're going to talk about what happened over in KC here in a little bit, but they're doing that. PAX, DreamHack, all these big events that they're coming back, and they're allowing the Halo to really build the universe that they want to see at these events around them. I think that's one thing that I think Halo is really missing right now is that it's these huge in-person spectacles, not only as standalone events, but in these convention style events where you can bring in new people and come over to see what Halo is at its top professional level. And I think that this is just really cool to see Luminosity say, hey, you know what? We didn't really fuck up. Y'all just weren't really doing what y'all were supposed to be doing, but we're down to come back through, and break a little bread, give y'all some skins, whatever the case is. I think it's just a beautiful thing to see.
No, I agree with you completely. Luminosity is a great organization. You're right. They're one of the OGs. They've been around for a long time.
Yes.
They have been part of all of the biggest esports, Rocket League, Smash, obviously, Halo back in the day, and now they're back to Halo. So this is going to be pretty exciting for the Halo scene. I mean, they're like just getting another professional team with top tier talent is, obviously going to be exciting, not only for people who watch competitive Halo, but for the people who play it. Because getting that new blood in the scene, or just having another rival show up, that it always shakes things up, always makes things good. Let's talk about the players. So it looks like we have Cycle, Carmia, Piggy, and Neuronical all as their lineup, with Mashlin as their coach. These are all young guys, 17 years old, most of them.
That's right.
One of them's still in college. The coach is also right at right near college age and everything. I think the coach is just under 30. But the players are all either college age or 17 still, so just under. This is a young team, right? This is a very young team. A lot of potential, but with Halo being such an old game, do you think they might have a little learning to do coming into the scene?
Oh, no doubt about that. And with us talking about TSM, these last couple of weeks, with how I guess maybe not so good. I didn't want to say bad, but maybe not so good, whatever, that they've been performing at. I think this is a good sign that we're moving in a good direction in esports. We could have picked up some legends. We could have tossed out a couple $100,000s and got a really, seasoned vet squad lineup. But I think for something like Luminosity, who hasn't been around for a while, they're probably trying to invest. And I think this is good. Halo Infinite's not going anywhere anytime soon. The game is only getting better, only getting fixed. It's only going to become an even stronger installment in the Halo series. And I think with getting these young players, you're really putting your money up and investing the right way. Really just trying to grow these players into something better. I mean, college is college, whatever. There's probably a big skill gap between like a collegiate level player and then, of course, a top professional. We've seen it in traditional sports. Of course, we're going to see it in esports, but I think this is just investing one-on-one. We might not do so well fresh out the gate, but you know what? Give me a couple years with these guys, and they might be the next thing since sliced bread. We'll see.
I think there's probably less of a gap between collegiate level esports play and pro level, just because esports in itself is such a young person's game, right?
Sure.
We have Smash pros that are 14, 15, 16 years old now.
Very true.
We have League of Legends and MOBA pros who are, 16, 17, 18 years old. We have, first person shooter players who are in their early teens, late teens. I just think it's cool that young bloods are playing Halo. And not only that, but at a professional level, right? I thought it was only old heads like us playing Halo.
Nah, man, there's something for everybody. You know what? The saying goes, the youth knows the truth. And I think with investing this type of way into a young community, hopefully this means that, in another 2, 3 years, these guys are going to be, the next big thing. 100,000 Twitter followers verified. They beat everybody 3 times over. And we can look back on this conversation and say, hey, remember when they got back in and invested into them guys? Well, we knew that they were going to be the next big thing. So that's right. You heard it here first on Shacknews.
Yeah, Rocket League. Asif mentions Rocket League has young players. Yeah, Rocket League definitely has a younger demographic that loves the game, and I
Sure,
mean,
sure.
it's easy to see why, right? Rocket League appeals to everybody. I just didn't think. I just wasn't sure if Halo had the appeal, still to reach the youth, and it does, and that makes me very happy. Makes me very happy to see that. So yeah, congrats to Luminosity Gaming getting back into the Halo game. Very excited to see what happens with them. We'll definitely be reporting on where they go in the professional scene. But let's
Mhm.
talk about our other Halo love that we saw from another professional sport. Um, Take it away, since this is close to home for you. Kansas City showing that Halo love.
Yeah, so I actually, I was just scrolling through the Halo news. On Sunday nights and Monday mornings, I just spend a lot of time like reading articles and just like reading up on whatever. And the Pioneers in KC, they got some love from the Kansas City Chiefs. Halo has found a new home back over into the Midwestern Heartland area. Before we had the venue UGC, great venue. We just haven't really had a lot of events really happen there. I went once or twice for a Smash event, and then since then, like, there hasn't really been much. But again, that's just the scope of esports. Sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not. But then we opened up the Level Up Arena thing, and then they did a couple Smash events there. And then that Smash kind of segued over to Halo. So now, more esport communities are starting to come through to the Heartland area, which really makes me happy. The Kansas City Chiefs, they showed them a little bit of love. They said in this tweet, Kansas City Chiefs, Master Chief, hoping our hometown team, the Pioneers GGs, finishes the fight in the Halo Championship Series right here in KC, hashtag my city. And they kind of did like a little 3D model mock-up of like Master Chief that we've seen, other esports kind of do with their characters as well. And in the Kansas City Chiefs colors. And I thought that was such a cool thing to see
He's
because
gonna wreck that stadium.
yeah, and you know what, Brian, we just don't get that crossover connection as much as we should. Over in like NBA 2K, a lot of the professional NBA teams have a side 2K league partnership team, and of course, by default, legally they got to tweet about each other. But I don't think these two organizations are as connected as it might seem. But now we're starting to see just that generalized level of respect. There's a big thing happening in our hometown. There's people competing for a lot of money, just like how we do throughout the season. We got to show them some respect and some love.
Yeah, I think it's cool to see this sports crossover love. The Kansas City Chiefs showing some love to their their local Halo Championship Series team, the Pioneers. Yeah, this is great. Yeah, there's just nothing. This is kind of why this is like our wholesome news of the day. There's really no
Yeah.
downside to this. Yeah, fans of football, fans of Halo can both get together and enjoy the moment. Yeah, I mean, I'm not necessarily a Kansas City Chiefs fan. I don't really, have a team necessarily, but I think
Yeah.
it's cool. I think it's really cool just to see this. And yeah, I hope more teams do more cross promotion like this as well, because I feel like showing football fans that there is another side to sports, right?
Sure,
There's
sure.
this esports side to professional sports. I feel like a lot of them would really have their eyes opened, because I guarantee you a vast majority of people who watch football have no idea what's
Mhm.
going on in the actual professional video game sports scene.
And unfortunately enough, they probably don't. And we've seen that type of mentality when, like, again, we talked about Overwatch, when they put Overwatch on TV, or when I was really big on E League, and I still am, when they were doing like Street Fighter and Tekken and
Uh-huh.
Injustice. I was like, this is cool. But then, like, I would go on Twitter and see what people are tweeting about the channel as these things are being aired. And I'm just like, damn, man, like they still don't get it yet. Like this esports shit is here to stay. So hopefully something like this will really start to, warm the fans up. And what better place to do it, I guess, than in the middle of the map, the Heartland area in Kansas City. I mean, they are champions after all, so this is going to be a great thing to see. And I hope that in the future, like we can keep this like together and moving forward, because the line between esports and professional sports, and kind of like the endeavors that some of the people on the inside or background are kind of taking to jump back and forth between both. I mean, that line is starting to blur in a good way. And I'm so happy to see this. I'm so glad we were able to catch this too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I just feel like this is what Kid Colt mentions Halo needs more than this promotion, although it's a start. Yeah, I
Sure.
think Halo definitely could use a little bit more promote, especially the Halo Championship series itself, not
For sure.
necessarily Halo Infinite. I mean, that game itself has been a big hit for Microsoft, and they've been slow on, fixing it and putting out the updates, but I I feel like it's slowly getting there. But Halo Championship Series itself, yeah, could use a little bit more promotion and just making it known that, hey, you know, Halo Esports is back. It's here and it has big money behind it with big, professional teams playing at large venues. Just they want this to be just as big as Call of Duty League, just as big as Overwatch League,
What-
just like those.
you know what I think Halo's missing is more of like the content avenue. I think when I think of Halo, and I'm gonna use the word fun. Like I
Denny
don't.
Von Doom and you had the same thought at the same time right there.
Oh shit, he did. Yeah, see, he gets it. We need content. Halo is a very competitive game, and of course it is. I'm having fun and playing competitively, but there isn't like I'm sure there is a casual audience somewhere out there on Twitch and YouTube, but we need more of the streamer friendly stuff. And I know, Brian, like I know you don't like the Twitch rivals and like the more of the content based things. And to be honest, for a game like Halo, I'm a little back and forth on it either. Because when I think of Halo again, I want to see like the grittiness, like, hey, this is a game built, what I'm saying? It shaped some of the craziest millennials out here playing this game that we have seen to date. But I do think that we also should take like a Fortnite, Apex Legends approach where like, hey, there's a lot of funny things that do happen in this game, not even directed towards like the glitches and the weird
Mhm.
stuff. Like there's just actual funny people creating cool content and shilling it out. Prime example over in KC, or maybe he's from Missouri, but there's a good friend of mine. His name is Legion. I met him years ago at a Smash tournament, like 400,000 followers, loves Halo to death. He's worked UGC events, verified, he does the whole thing. But I want to see more people like him really elevate the game so that way people can not only have competitive eyes on it, but have casual eyes as well.
Yeah. I think that it definitely could use it needs the content for sure. Like
Yeah.
you guys, all of you are absolutely right. It needs the content. It needs the co-op campaign. It needs to be the Halo Infinite that we were promised in order for, I think, for people to really jump on board and to really get fully excited about this game.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, the multiplayer, the absolute free
Free.
multiplayer,
Yes.
uh, it's doing pretty well. And yeah, Army of Techno brings up Red versus Blue. I was just about to bring that up as well. As far as outside of the game content goes, content creation,
Sure.
Red v Blue was like the start of that kind of thing.
Hmm.
Fans just making content for their game because they loved the game,
Right.
and just trying to make it funny to them. Based around humorous moments in the game and everything, and because it was funny to them as fans of the game, it was funny to other fans of the game, and it
Hmm.
became huge. It just blew up,
Yeah.
became a TV series and everything. Yeah, I don't know if Halo Infinite it doesn't really have what it takes to make that sort of thing right now. I feel like it doesn't because it's still the bones of a
Hmm.
complete the whole thing that's supposed to be put together. It's still it's still very much incomplete.
Yes, but I feel like it is coming one day, and I think even with picking up like young players, that's a really good step in the right direction. We talked about it. Halo is it's not an old man's game, but it's not a
Yeah,
Fortnite. It's not like a very content heavy whatever type of series. You come to this game to fuck people up. Like
yeah.
that's what you do in Halo, and I've loved it forever because of that. But I do think with picking up younger players on these teams, with of course making sure that these people that you're also picking up aren't only good on the sticks, but they're also good on the content end of things. That'll just push Halo in the right direction. Halo right now, of course, like you said, it's the bones of what it should be, but it's building into something great. And hopefully with the crossovers that we're seeing with the Kansas City Chiefs and the picking up of the young players, this one sticks around for quite some time.
Yeah, and I mean, this was supposed to be our wholesome news of the day, but it's hard to keep it 100% positive when it comes to Halo Infinite just because of how disappointing the launch and the
Mhm.
follow up, the post launch support has been. Um, yeah, I feel like the TV series, like, DVD mentioned that Halo TV series, on Paramount Plus,
Mhm.
that's complete, like, that's so far away from like red versus blue type content, right? This is
Yes.
bespoke content that's made specifically for this universe on a
Yep.
big high budget level, meant to sell subscriptions to a premium streaming service as well as tie in fervor and tie in appreciation for the game. Yeah, it's just completely I don't I don't want to say it completely flopped because
Mm.
I don't know for sure, but I just feel like nobody's really talking about it. Nobody I know is like, hey man, you gotta watch that Halo show. You watch Halo this
It
week?
does, yeah, it doesn't have the same pull like, the Arcane show does. I think,
Yeah.
this is more so it was supposed to be like that, but it feels more like, what's another video game show that's not really hitting it? It feels more like, well, I can't even say The Witcher because people are watching The Witcher. Like, if nothing else, like I know women are watching The Witcher because Henry Cavill's, chiseled ass is in there. So, I mean, if nothing else, like it just doesn't have that type of pull.
It's not
Um,
just the women watching it.
oh, excuse me.
Oh.
Yeah, but all jokes aside, I think, Halo they have some work to do, and I think if nothing else, they have let it be known online that, hey, we are working towards creating a better something for this franchise. This is one of the most historic franchises to be built in the last 30 years, and they're finally acting like it. I'm very excited to see what Halo is going to bring us, in the next so many weeks to months.
Before we end this, just the two notes from chat I want to touch on really quick. Kid Colt says episode 5 was pretty lit, so maybe there is something to that Halo show. Maybe can't write it off yet.
Mm.
Maybe it's building up to be something spectacular in the final episodes or whatever. Maybe it's one of those has a lot of build up and then they put all the money into the last couple episodes and it gets really good. We'll see. I have no idea. But also Krabs saying if the Halo show added fat cheeks to the Spartan armor, it would get better ratings. That is 100% true. If the Spartan armor had the Witcher buns instead of what it has right now, yes, that's the crossover we're looking for.
You never know. Could be coming soon. That show could get patched.
That's right. Could patch the CG. They've done it before. They did it with Sonic.
That's actually true. Very true.
All right, let's move on. I think that is going to cover our esports topics of the day. Thank you so much, everybody, for sticking with us through another wide world of electronic sports. But don't go anywhere because we're not done yet. No,
Not at
we're
all.
not done. Because after we talk esports, getting clapped in Halo would definitely mean something different. After we talk esports, we got to talk that sauce. Sauce Talk is getting dirty today. That's right. Sauce Talk actually creeped into the show a little bit before, so let's bring that back. Let's bring back the Sauce Talk that was creeping up, so we can just put it to bed. Dunkin' Donuts, it's everywhere. Everybody loves it. What did you get? I gotta know.
Well, so what's funny is I actually don't know what I got. There's a cafe across the street, and I live in a park area, so it's like my front yard is actually built into a park. So I walk across the street, and I'm like, hey, I'm gonna hit this cafe real quick, 30 minutes before the show. Just want a little caffeine. And the
Army of Techno was saying that Ohio fucks with Dunkin'. Everybody fucks with Dunkin'.
Oh yeah.
I like myself a good donut. I don't really mess with coffee too often though, so
I've been
I don't
trying.
really care.
I'm not a coffee guy either. The weather is super gray in Jersey right now, and I just was like, I don't want to go into the show with that energy. I want a coffee. I want to make sure I'm up. I want to make sure I'm, having a great time, which I always am. But I think the coffee would, help out a little bit. And so
There you go.
Dunkin' Donuts came to save my skin once again.
Let's get into our first actual sauce talk topic, and I feel like Krabs, this is your topic. You have to introduce it. This is all you, man.
Okay, so a few weeks back, apparently something happened with M&Ms where the cartoons that they used to market M&Ms to children, they decided to make them slightly, I mean, ever so slightly less sexual in that, like, they shortened the eyebrows on the green one, I think, and then changed your shoes or something.
Yep.
And there were some conservative talking heads who were upset that we were desexualizing the cartoon characters that sell chocolate to kids. And then there was concern that Snickers would remove the dick vein from their candy bar.
Upset?
A lot of people were upset.
Because they want to have sex with the characters from M&M's?
I'm not a therapist. It's just what I'm just repeating what I was told.
Gotcha.
Anyway, Snickers chimed in on this randomly 3 weeks later on Twitter to let everybody know that they were not getting rid of the vein.
Not getting rid of the vein?
And then they posted a picture of an especially thick veiny one.
Okay. First of all, this has ruined Snickers for the rest of my life for me. So I'm just going to put that out there. I have never really paid attention to the Snickers that I eat. But that's also because, too, I'm also not eating normal, regular-sized Snickers. I'm always eating, like, the mini ones, and then I just go about my
you're
business.
there for the flavor, not the fantasy. It's a different approach.
Right.
You're not trying to get your rocks off. You just want a candy bar.
That's right. I just want a candy bar. But now this has ruined it for me forever. I do really like this meme. And what's funny, too, is that I'm kind of on the side of, like, you know, these company Twitter accounts bantering with each other and, like, being funny. I do like that. I think that's cool. But man, did this just ruin Twix and Snickers for me. I mean, I was already kind of like, oh, look, I'm a weirdo. I'm an Almond Joy guy. All right, say what you want. I like coconut, whatever. But I was like, I used to be really big on Snickers because they used to do one back in the day called Snickers S'mores, where it was like graham cracker or whatever. And I was like, yo, this is fucking crazy. And then they discontinued it. But I was like, you know what? I still like Snickers. Now, I'm kind of off of it a little bit. I don't know if I can look at Snickers the same way.
I'll still eat a Snickers. I don't care. Give me that thick, veiny Snickers.
Yeah.
I'll eat it.
Call me old-fashioned, but I'd love to try to go throat goat on this thing.
Looks good. Look at that nougat. Just so creamy.
Hey, you gotta live your best life. I hear you. So, hey, Snickers. I mean, I'm still gonna eat them, but I just was like, damn, like I didn't even look at Snickers this type of way. But you know what? There are some people who are just sexually attracted to Snickers candy bars, and hell, who am I to judge?
It's just Tucker Carlson.
Or maybe it's just him. It's just him.
Anyway.
It's a strange fella. Yeah, he's a strange fella for sure. I'm not surprised though that this was like a thing again, especially with all the companies that, you know, they hire these young people on their PR teams to, you know, tweet and whatever other companies. I think I don't know if I linked the tweet. There may have been a tweet out there of like Twix and Snickers tweeting back and forth, and maybe another company got in on the mix too. But it's funny to see. It's funny to see like memes, you know what I'm saying, get propelled into the marketing now. The internet has a very interesting control over some of these companies, and I'm very interested to see where that goes.
Well, DVD has the source. He found the original tweet that went viral where a Twitch streamer tweeted her Snickers that had no veins. It was veinless.
Yes.
And then so Snickers came back, you know, saying that, you know, of course they're going to keep the vein in. They would never do that. Yeah, I don't know. I also think it's pretty fun. You know, just a little harmless play from Snickers. And yeah, I hope it made somebody angry. I hope the same people that were mad about
my folks are mad.
Their character, you know, their M&M's characters being desexualized would probably get mad about this too, I'm sure.
This one over even worse than the war on Christmas.
Absolutely.
There you go.
All right, well, let's move on to our next Sauce Talk topic, and I'm gonna let Rodney. You got to take this one because this was the one you brought to me.
The Bojangles one.
And yeah, it's a little practice delivery. Yeah, give us the scoop on what happened.
Well, what's funny is I didn't even see this originally. Asif was the one that brought this to me, but I really like this because it's kind of like a good part two to what we talked about with God, what was it? Just was it the episode before or the episode before last? It was like the UFL had a player who was kicked off the team for eating a slice of pizza.
Yes,
this is kind of the opposite
about
end.
that. Yeah,
this is kind of the opposite end of that spectrum where, you know, these NFL players, you know, even at their scrimmages or when they're just practicing or whatever, they're going to bring in fans, especially when it's Cam Newton. I mean, he's like one of the most popular, if not the most popular NFL dude on the planet right now in his own various ways. And he's coming over to the audience, you know what I'm saying? to dap everybody up. Yo, great practice. Everybody bring it into the middle, even though I'm the only one that threw the ball and caught it and did anything. And somebody just hands him a thing of Bojangles. And I thought that was the funniest shit ever, because after he got it, he was like, yo, thank you, saying, hit him with the fist. And then he comes over with his teammates and they sit down. And they almost do this little picnic outing thing. They just think it's the funniest shit ever. I mean, nobody actually ate anything, but it was just yo, they just gave me a big ass thing of chicken. This was pre-planned, not on Cam's end, but whoever handed it to them was like, yo, today's the day, man. I'm giving Cam this chicken and it's my time in the spotlight. And hell, it looked like they all enjoyed it.
In the interest of accuracy, we should also mention that Cam Newton is not currently on an NFL team, and this video is from 2018.
Is it really?
Is it really?
I believe so. Well, he hasn't been on the Panthers in 2.5, 3 years.
It's just going viral now.
I'm not 100%. I remember when it happened the first time, but I don't know the exact date. I'd have to go deeper. But he's not currently an NFL player.
This might be an oldie then. Might be. I mean, sometimes they slip through. It happens.
Oh,
but
by the way, I love Bojangles.
Yeah, I love Bojangles as well.
Everybody on both sides of this loves Bojangles. It's kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Not local delicacy, but they're more in the area, the Carolinas and the Deep South. So.
I think I had a Bojangles in Atlanta too. And I'm going to be honest. I had it in the airport, which the airport version of any restaurant is going to be absolute dog shit. It's going to be overpriced. You're going to get the least amount of serving, whatever. But Bojangles is some serious shit. I am a big fan. Very big fan.
Chicken biscuits are tough to beat.
I want this to be the new end zone celebration where the guy who scores the touchdown just sits down in the grass and all the other guys sit down and they act like they're going to have a picnic.
I want them to have a full mukbang after a touchdown with the whole team. Just everybody going to town on a turducken.
Yes.
6-leg turducken.
This needs to be a thing.
There. Yeah, I think it's cool. I think again, it just shows the more humorous side of some of these players. I like that he also didn't eat any of it, because again, you just got to be safe. I don't know what the hell you did with this, and also,
no, of course not.
I gotta also just gotta uphold the physique, and you never know, one piece of chicken could just ruin everything that is Cam Newton. But I thought it was just really funny to kind of see the fans and the athletic professional players just interact that type of way. I personally, I'm not Cam Newton, so if you hand me a bucket of Bojangles and any sort of whatever, I'm going to eat it. That, when they talk about yo, here's some candy, whatever, mine is, hey, here's some Bojangles. It's a party going on back here. Come check it out. I'm checking it out, because
didn't your mom ever tell you not to take Bojangles from strangers?
She did.
What if the person brought this box thinking that he was supposed to sign the Bojangles box, and he just took the chicken and walked off? Because you see the Sharpie hit him in the back as he walks off.
That was the guy's dinner. He just wanted the box to be signed.
These millionaire athletes think that they are entitled to everything. Look at it. He just takes the chicken from the guy. He turns around, and there's going to Sharpie hit him right in the butt.
Yeah.
Bam.
I think it's the guy with the shoe that had the Sharpie.
Yeah, it might have been the shoe guy, but
yeah,
you never know. Maybe he did want his Bojangle box signed. I mean, how much would a Cam Newton Bojangles box go for? It seems like it would fetch something on the open market.
That's a real item.
I think so, especially with just the hoopla around Cam Newton. I mean, he's a very prolific player. Does well everywhere he goes for the most part, and who knows, man? I mean, and again, with the internet kind of propelling this video, I mean, this was the box that Cam took from me on eBay, $100,000, or I'm gonna turn it into an NFT. It's your choice. So, I think it's pretty cool.
Blake says he's never had Bojangles. You should try it. It's very good. Of the fast food fried chicken joints,
it's one of them.
It's up there. It's right up there with Popeyes.
Is upper echelon for sure, and they have way better desserts and shit too. And I'm not a dessert guy, really. I mean, yes, I was just handed a thing of Dunkin' and a slice of pie, which I didn't know I was getting. I only asked for the coffee. So, but I thought that the sweets and the sides at Bojangles are pretty top tier. I got it higher on my list than KFC. It's fighting against Church's right now. Popeyes
Church's is really good. Yeah, Church's is also good. Yeah, I don't think they're in Southern California or Chicago or it's Bojangles is pretty much southeastern United States. I don't know if they've expanded outside of there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's how it is.
Yeah,
here.
I think so too.
Oh,
Yeah.
we had one in Virginia Beach where I grew up. So I mean,
Oh,
it's
Oh,
gone at
nice.
least that far north.
Yeah, there are some really good chicken joints out there too. Like when I was in Atlanta for a different event, I think I was a layover of some sort because Atlanta's a Delta hub, and when you're in the middle of nowhere, Nebraska, you're always going to go to fucking Atlanta for every damn thing. So I pull up, and I think Ludacris, the rapper, also has a chicken joint restaurant in the airport,
Of
and
course
that
he
was
does.
really, of course, because he had an album called Chicken and Beer, so he fucking loves chicken. But that restaurant was really good. It's just the chicken joints in the South, even their worst ones, are better than some of the mainstays in the other parts of the country.
Oh yeah.
Bojangles, Ludacris' spot, Zaxby's. I know Phil's not here, but Zaxby's phenomenal. Love those spots to death.
Yeah, Luda has a chicken spot. Blake, you got to find it. Make it your mission. It needs to be a it needs to be like like a mission, like an adventure. It could
Yes,
be a movie. It could be like Harold and Kumar, but
that's
Blake
right.
Morse goes to Luda's Chicken Shack.
Ludacris has a song called Area Codes. Okay, find the area code where his restaurant exists and go check it out. Blake, look. We all on Shacknews like to eat. Okay, we love different flavors. We love exploring the world of sauce talk. I mean, honestly, sauce talk probably just needs to be its own show because it's some serious shit here.
Never.
I know, right? You know, we're still in it for the wide world. No other show on here can have it. But all jokes aside, if we all end up in Atlanta together, you know what? Bojangles is on ride. I'm gonna dig out. I'm gonna dig out some money. We're gonna get everybody Bojangles.
Let's do it. All right, let's get into our last sauce talk topic, and this is actual sauce talk. That's right.
Oh,
We are going to talk sauces. I found this article earlier today about 8 underrated fast food sauces that are so good they actually make the food better by
oh,
using them. And I kind of wanted to go through this slideshow and talk about these 8 sauces and see what we think, if these are actually underrated food heightening, elevating sauces, or
yeah.
if they're really nothing special.
Okay.
Um,
The first
let
one
me, let
is
me pull it up here. Let me pull it up here. Pulling it up.
okay. So I think the first one, if I'm reading this correctly, is McDonald's spicy buffalo sauce.
That's right. The first one is McDonald's
Okay.
spicy buffalo sauce. And you know
Ooh,
what? I have to agree. McDonald's
okay.
spicy buffalo sauce slaps.
I mean, it's good, but it doesn't make it better though. Like I'm will not argue with you. Like I am 100% in the camp of that's some good shit. A lot of the sauces at McDonald's are pretty good, but it makes it better.
I think so.
Okay.
Yes. It makes your order better.
I mean, you
Makes
could
the
dip
nuggets
those
better,
things in
makes the
pine
fries
sol and they
better.
would get better.
Fair enough. Fair enough. The
Oh,
next one is
crabs. Hold
yeah,
on.
top.
But first, before we get off of this one, though, if spicy buffalo is not the underrated McDonald's sauce, what is that?
Hot mustard.
Hot mustard, I
See,
think.
hot mustard might be it because not many people talk about the McDonald's hot mustard. Not many people go for it. And I feel like it is more underrated, as in underrepresented.
People can't handle the flavor.
They can't.
They don't
Their
admit to
taste buds,
themselves that this is not for me.
their taste buds are weak, and history will forget about them.
Yeah, I can definitely agree with that. I don't know if McDonald's Buffalo is better than the sweet and sour, but I feel like it's right. They're neck and neck. They are absolutely neck and neck. Army of Techno says honey. The honey cup at McDonald's is kind of like a secret. Like not everybody knows about that. You can get just straight up honey with your nuggets if you want.
That sounds
Uh,
good.
I believe it was originally intended for their biscuits. You know, they have
Yes.
jelly and honey for the biscuits. But yeah, a lot of people will just get them with their nuggets. I've seen people like order them, you know, when they order like a Happy Meal for their kids, they'll get honey instead of a ranch or barbecue. And I'm like,
That would
yeah,
definitely be
you're just
preferable to that
feeding your
nasty
kid
barbecue
straight
sauce.
sugar.
Honey
I
is
feel like
just
it's all straight sugar, right?
The honey is
yeah.
better for the kid than corn syrup.
Fair enough. I mean, I've come around to honey a little bit more since like the Popeyes chicken craze, like getting the honey with the
Hmm.
spicy chicken sandwich. But I don't know. I just it's just something about honey. But the honey mustard, though, that shit is good. Spicy mustard rather. That's amazing. Sweet and sour too. I'm a little back and forth on because it's good at some places and it's really bad at others. Like it's really good at Wendy's. Like you get the spicy nuggets with the sweet and sour sauce. wrap it up. You know what I'm saying? It's great.
McDonald's has spicy nuggets right now. I think I'm gonna try them with
Do it.
With a honey cup next time.
Oh.
Yeah, because I mean, I have to. Asif says it's legit underrated, and I've never tried it. And I feel
If
like
it's
with
real
the
honey,
spicy
he's got
nuggets,
to
it
be
would
right.
be even better. It is pure. It's just pure honey. It's just
Yeah,
100% honey.
Well, the thing I wanted to bring up here that may completely tear apart the show, but some places out here, everybody's be serving honey mustard, right? But some places give you mustard mixed with honey, and other places give you like this weird salad dressing sugar concoction. And I need to know where everybody stands on this.
I feel like I don't know if I've ever had honey mixed with mustard as actual honey mustard.
Yeah, that doesn't sound pleasant. I feel like I've always had a pretty generalized like what it's supposed to be experienced. But if you're watching this and you're out here doing that, you're going to jail. Okay, you need to do it the right way or don't fucking do it at all. When we ask for honey mustard, make it the right way.
Damn, I'm going to jail.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait, crap.
We just talked about how hot mustard was underrated because of the intense flavor, and now we're going, if you prefer the intense flavor of actual honey mustard, you should go to jail.
No, I mean, if you're the wrong way, like if you're just like, we're just putting together like random honey and like random mustard together, like I'm not actually.
Well, I mean, I wasn't sure how to describe the concoction I was referring to, like actual honey mustard versus that salad dressing thing.
That, gotcha.
I'm sorry, that was probably my bad.
I also like how this article mentions hot mustard as like an elusive dipping sauce, like it's hard to get. You can just get
it. They keep it in the box underneath the ketchup.
They have it everywhere. All right, let's move on to the next sauce. It's a Taco Bell sauce, and it's Diablo sauce. How do you guys feel about this? Do you think Diablo is the underrated sauce at Taco Bell?
Hey, I mean, I don't. So it's not underrated. It's just. I feel like it doesn't get asked for as much. Like in all my years of going to Taco Bell, I've gone with different groups. I mean, your college days is just like, yo, dude, going to Taco Bell, don't know you, but you want something. I'm like, yeah, fuck it, we out. Oh, what's your name, by the way? Like, you just go to Taco Bell all the damn time. I don't think Diablo sauce is underrated. Great flavor, but I've seen people get that before.
I don't really like the flavor of Diablo sauce. I think just plain old hot, like the fire. I think fire is better.
Okay, I will agree. I do think fire is a much better installment than Diablo, but I could understand why people would think it's underrated just because it's not picked as much. But I don't know if those two things are quite as synonymous as we think they are. Diablo is good.
Diablo is supposed to be a tiny bit of Ghost, I believe. Surfer Boy Sam.
Is that what's going on with that?
Very tiny bit of ghost pepper.
Okay.
I'm not sure which is which when I go. I don't know. I mean,
we never had guessed.
Just sauce packets, whatever. Or at least locally, they always just give you a handful that's got 8 of each one, and it's just like figure it out on your own, fat boy.
Yeah, like every time I ask for a type of sauce, I never get the one I asked for. I'm like, hey, can I have the majority like mild sauce? And then I get like 1 mild and like 8 Diablo and 1 fire. And I'm like, hey, thanks, man. Taco Bell experience was great. But I don't know. I thought Diablo was okay. I guess I never really looked at it as like underrated. I've seen people get it before, but if it's underrated in terms of like people getting it, sure. But in terms of flavor, I don't know, man. Like I think it's where it's supposed to be.
I was wrong on Diablo. It's actually a mix of ají panca, chipotle, and regular chilies. And that's why I don't like it, because I'm not a big fan of chipotle.
Oh, so it's like peppers. A smokier flavor than the fire?
Yes. Okay. And yeah, I'm not a big fan of the smokiness that it adds to it.
Well, now I finally learned what the difference between it is in a way that can be described, so I appreciate the heads up.
All right,
let's move on. Next sauce. It's Arby's horsey sauce. And I love this one too. It's a great sauce.
I've never had it.
Damn good sauce.
I don't know if I've ever had it. I'm also not going to Arby's enough to get the things I'm supposed to get at Arby's. When I go, I get like I just always get their fries. I think they have some of the best seasoned fries on the planet. The seasoned curly ones, right? But I think I just get like the traditional. Arby's has just a house sauce, don't they? And then I think it works really well with the fries and their sandwiches. But I've never had the horsey sauce before. What is this like?
It's horseradish. It's fast food version of horseradish.
Not exactly a mustard kick, but in that same overall family, kind of. The spice you get from mustard is not terribly unlike horseradish spice.
Interesting. Yeah, maybe if they bring it back, I'm gonna I'll give it a go. Where I'm at, there's not really a lot of Arby's, but in Nebraska, dude, my dad lives and dies. Like he'll swear by Arby's, like it's the best shit ever. I'm like, Dad, what the fuck? Like we can make these sandwiches at home, but we can't make horsey sauce at home, I guess. So I'm gonna have to pull up and try this.
I remember when I was growing up, the whole deal at these places was they had a station after you got your food that had the 3 big tubs of the sauces, and you had to squeeze.
So remember that.
You had to squeeze the business, and that was part of the Arby's dining experience. It may be dead now. I haven't been in Arby's inside in forever, but
I don't know, like if they still have I doubt they do, because it would just be packets that you get.
Mhm.
But a lot of them still have the giant hat neon sign, whatever. A lot of them have retained their original neon signs. But yeah, horsey sauce is pretty good. I like it. I believe it. I think it deserves a spot on the list. Let's move on to the next one, which is a goat. It's a goat sauce. It's an all-time greatest hit. I don't think it's underrated, because how could it be underrated?
Yeah. Popeye's Louisiana hot sauce. Are you kidding me? This is underrated.
Yeah.
This shit is crack cocaine. Everybody loves this. Like, there's no way.
This isn't underrated. Everyone has rated this sauce because everyone's had it.
Every it's in everybody's drawer. Everybody has a sauce packet drawer, and the majority of them, I bet you, of these sauces are one of 2 things: Louisiana hot sauce from Popeyes or honey packets from KFC.
Oh,
That's it.
I'm sure you got some packets of soy sauce. I'm sure you got some packets of the hot mustard. You know, you probably have some ketchup packets and whatever. But yes, you definitely have a Louisiana hot sauce packet. One Drop does it. It's gorgeous. I love this sauce. It's so delicious. Any kind of like basic Louisiana style cayenne pepper sauce, I'm automatically sold. You know what I mean? I love them all.
Same. Like that was a very poor choice for whoever created this list. Popeye's hot sauce is far from underrated. Trust me. That shit, if they package it up and like really marketed it, they could probably sell it, and it would probably
sell this in bottles as Louisiana at grocery stores.
It's just called Louisiana hot sauce.
This is just Popeye's repackaging the store hot sauce.
Yeah. There's no way that's underrated.
Ash Raven Blue, it's thinner than Frank's. Frank's is a little thicker sauce, but it is still the same kind of overall flavor profile. It's still a very cayenne heavy vinegar flavor profile. Crystals in Louisiana are very close. I'm not sure if Crystals is better. I don't know. It's tough.
I don't know if I've ever had Crystals before.
You see a lot in the South.
Yeah, it's a very southern sauce. I like Texas Pete even. You know, Texas Pete's not bad. As long as it's not Tabasco.
What's our stance on Cholula while we're all here and we also love each other?
Nothing wrong with Cholula.
Yeah, Cholula is a garden variety Mexican hot sauce, and it's delicious.
They also make it available in gallon sizes easily, which is something not all hot sauces that I eat do, so I appreciate that.
Fair enough. Okay, I was just checking what the temperature was.
Let's move on to the next one before Sam gets mad about my no Tabasco policy. And I think this next one is probably an underrated sauce because it's the gravy from Jollibee. I've never had Jollibee. Never been there.
I've had it once. I had it once last Let's Make Big Moves. So not this one, but the one before the world went to shit. This was one of the highlights of the trip. It was like it's in New York walking distance. I'll put it that way. The walking distance rules are a little bit different in the city. But we walked there, and all weekend we got to try it raw. You know, oh wait. Yo, my guy, you got to try it, my guy, my G, you got to try the Jollibee, you know what I mean? I'm like, all right, bro, we going to pull up. Let's see what it's about. And it was actually really good. Now, I didn't have the gravy, though, but I did have a really good time at this restaurant. So I am inclined to go back and try the gravy.
You should have got the gravy.
I fucked up.
Going to any place that serves gravy as a menu item and not getting it is probably a losing maneuver.
Yeah, I agree with Krabs. If a restaurant has gravy, that right there, they offer it as a litmus test.
And if it's an Italian place, it is even more critical that you get it.
Absolutely. If they offer it as a litmus test, you're supposed to get it so you can then judge them on their gravy making prowess. I've never been to Jollibee, but I would try this for sure. Chicken and gravy, absolutely. I mean, it looks good.
Yeah, I never knew this existed, but now I'm standing for it automatically. So.
Yeah, I think this is a Philippines franchise. I want to try it. There just isn't one where I live. So unfortunately, yeah, there's no way for me to get this unless I travel.
Well, it's time to take Sauce Talk on the road. I mean, it's long overdue, guys. All we gotta do is just get a big van together and just one end of the country to the other.
All right, let's move on to the next sauce. Let's get through this list. It's pretty common
Yeah.
if you've ever been to. Yeah, I was gonna say if you've ever been
Yeah.
to Raising Cane's, you've had this sauce. Rod, what's wrong? What's wrong, Rod?
No, this is,
Rod.
first of all, it's the only sauce option on the menu, and without the sauce, the chicken is uneatable. It's not edible. Listen, Raising Cane's. Raising Cane's is good when you're leaving the club, you're stumbling out of the club, you know what I'm saying? You fumbled the bag, you didn't get any numbers that night, you got this crazy bar tab, it's just I'm going outside. You're like, I need something to put in my stomach because nothing else is open. That's when you go to Raising Cane's. Okay. The sauce is not underrated. It's the only option of sauce you can get there. And people will swear by this restaurant, oh, well, it's about the chicken, you know what I'm saying? Or it's about the sauce. The sauce makes the chicken better. Look, by the time you even get the chicken home, the chicken's texture has completely gone to shit because it's steamed because it's so goddamn hot that the chicken is soggy. And then the sauce is not helping. The sauce is not, look, go to Zaxby's. Zaxby's is the better of the two chicken finger sauce combination establishments. This is not a good installment on this list because it's the only sauce available. The only other thing that comes in a container is coleslaw. Okay? And if you're dipping your chicken in coleslaw, that's a story for another day. The authorities are on their way. Right here, no, absolutely not. I'm not sold.
No, I agree with you. Raising Cane's is okay. It's good. I don't think it's anything special. I've never had Zaxby, so I can't compare.
Exactly the same.
I will say that this franchise idea, people attribute it to Raising Cane's, but this thing has been around forever, people. There was a little place in Phoenix called Rock and Roll Fingers that they were doing this. They were doing the chicken, the sauce, the crinkle cut, the Texas toast, all of it. And they got put out of business because of Raising Cane's. Raising Cane's opened up a few locations in the Phoenix area, and Rock and Roll Fingers just couldn't compete anymore. They were done. They were out of business. Gone.
This is why I'm sad.
Shop, no more.
I'm sad that Zaxby's and Cane's took over because Guthrie's invented this, and they had multiple spicy options for the sauce and baked beans instead of the slaw. Yeah. But people are crazy and would rather wait in line 7 hours for this.
Coleslaw is absolute dog shit. Okay,
I know that. Apologize for white people. We keep doing this shit.
It's okay. I get it. You guys just wanted to. You guys got curious.
I one time tried to sprinkle some black pepper in there before a picnic, and I was tackled.
Coleslaw and chicken, and then the fries don't stay solid. Like, it's just soggy. Like, if you don't eat it there, then when you get it on DoorDash, Uber Eats, or you're taking it home or whatever, it's just not even worth eating anymore. The logo to Raising Cane's is a dog for a reason, because it's fucking dog food. Okay. And it needs to be treated as such. I cannot believe this made the list. I'm really upset about this.
Wow. I'm glad I could make you upset. I'm glad I could get this kind of reaction, because this is what I was hoping for. Because this is
not your fault.
I know it's not my fault, but I'm saying this is sauce talk. And I wanted us to get heated about these sauces. This is exactly what I was looking for. Let's move on to the next one. This is one of my personal favorites, okay? And I do believe that this is a very underrated sauce.
Yes.
They're specifically talking about the blue cheese dressing at Wingstop, and I absolutely agree. It is so good. It is one of the best blue cheeses out there. First of all, when you go to a wing place and they offer you the choice of ranch or blue cheese, if you choose ranch, you failed. You failed. Should have said blue cheese. Now, second of all, if you go to Wingstop and you don't get it, definitely get it. I mean, it's not just for the chicken. Their fries are pretty decent. Their fries and that blue cheese dip together is just magical.
Yes, I have to agree with you. Wingstop has had me and my entire bloodline in a chokehold for quite some time, for many millennia. And the issue is that the seasoning put on some of their options, I mean, it's like you would have thought like somebody in your family like put this together. The lemon pepper wings, lemon pepper wings are my kryptonite. Like, if I was a superhero in the cinematic universe, Loki is like, wow, how are you going to save the day when I got these? And he just pulls out a bag of like lemon pepper wings, and I just fall to my knees. that mixed with like, I know, Brian, we're not ranch is ranch, but I like the ranch and the blue cheese. That combination, or the seasoned fries too. The fries are really great because now you
Yeah.
can get those with the flavors of some of the other wing options. That and that blue cheese slash ranch, I'm out, man. Like I can't compete. I have to take a nap. I'm defeated. I'm done.
I'm liking what I'm seeing in chat. Lemon pepper wet, very good flavor.
Mhm.
Getting the blue cheese and honey mustard. Corn cob cuts are the shiz. I'm liking the Wingstop love here. I'm very much appreciating. I know their wings aren't the greatest. I know you can get better wings at other places, but it's just so goddamn convenient. Their sauce
Yeah.
choices are pretty good. And yeah, their fries are just, oh my God, their fries are so good. I think Wingstop fries are right up there with maybe some of the best fast food fries you can get right now.
My only gripe with Wingstop fries, only gripe, is that they kind of suffer from the same sort of ass beating that Cane's fries are going to take. They don't last the car ride home.
Okay.
If you eat the fries there, they're good. But the seasoning is still good by the time you get them home. But it's just they're really soggy. But when you get them fresh, plus the sauce, they are like top one or two in my opinion.
I've had success in taking Wingstop fries home, but it was a quick journey, like a 10-minute drive or whatever. So maybe I was able to get them there right underneath that shelf life of about 15, 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they're still fantastic. Let's move on to this last sauce, though. We got to wrap up this show. We're getting close to the end. And yes, Denny Von Doom, toss them in the air fryer. Air fryer is how you rejuvenate your fries. Not for too long, just for a minute, just to bring them back up to temp. But
I'm
they
for it.
will be perfect. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this last sauce, I don't see how this could be underrated either. This is a staple sauce.
The
This is
only reason that you would ever walk into a Little Caesars is to buy a jug of this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to get crazy bread and this sauce specifically. Because if you get the crazy bread and you don't get the crazy sauce, then
You
again you
deserve to be
failed.
in prison.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you should just be in prison for the rest of your days. No, really, it's a mother sauce. It's marinara. It's so
This is
beautiful.
legit Italian gravy.
It's not. It's
Right
not
from the
really.
fucking source. This is it.
I'm Italian, and I know that this is
Mamma
not
mia.
real.
Are
This
you
is
talking
not
about Ma and Pa
real.
Caesar? Ma Caesar gets up every morning at 3 a.m., sweats over this big vat of gravy
Not,
she's turning
not
into.
Ma
Talk
Vat
shit.
of tomatoes that she
This
boils and
this
peels herself.
ragu
Mama.
especial. Mama.
Ragu.
Papa.
I don't know what's in mass-produced Little Caesars crazy sauce. They make it by the 50-gallon drum size, I assume.
Mhm.
Are you
But
saying
yeah,
that Ma and Pa
it's damn
Fasolini, who
good.
started Little Caesars in 1483, are not using the freshest tomatoes every morning when they do this? Are you
Maybe
implying they're
not.
getting canned tomatoes out of a Cisco truck?
I mean, it is hot and ready. It does sit in like a little robot box for you to come and pick up, right there waiting for you. They've really mastered the art of not dealing with a human when you go to Little Caesars. They really, you just put your order in on the app, you go up to the box, open the door automatically opens, you just grab your food and go. You don't
Well, I
even have to
mean,
talk to
the same.
anybody.
Well, that's because the same people that work at the DMV are the same people who work at Little Caesars. They're
Oh,
people who don't want to be there. They don't like
gotcha.
anybody or anything. And at least Little Caesars is looking out for you. It says, "Hey, I'm here to order a pizza. Oh, you ordered it. There it is. See you, man. Get the fuck out of here." Like that's what the deal is at Little Caesars. It's a part of the hot and ready thing. It does come. It does come with the cost.
Of course they hate being there. They have to get up at 3 in the morning every morning to make
Yeah,
this
Ma and Pa
crazy
Fasolini,
sauce.
you're nagging them for having day jobs, government jobs that have good benefits, so they can make the gravy on the side as their passion project. And it's just nothing but, hey, mama.
It's so good. Yeah,
And when
it's
they serve you
absolutely.
when they serve you that crazy bread piping hot, that's just right into the gravy, twist it around. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, there's no way this is underrated. Everybody
No.
has rated this sauce. Everybody loves it. Yeah, there's just like I said, it's not
Frank
it's not
Sinatra wrote a song about this sauce once.
it's not quality. You're not getting something good to nourish yourself. But goddamn, it just tastes good. It just soothes the guilty pleasure soul for some reason. Yeah, it's so
This
great.
plugs up my happy hole in a way that's hard to describe.
Oh yes. All right. With that, I think we're gonna.
I do have to add in before we quit, just because this last one was so not underrated, legit underrated. The seasoning packet that comes with Wendy's chili. Dump it on everything they serve at that place. Thank me later.
The seasoning packet
The little
that you get with Wendy's chili.
The one that turns the chili from bland into cool. The one that they're afraid to give the white people. You have to ask for it. They make it special. It's called a Wendy's chili seasoning packet. It comes just like a ketchup packet, but it's got the business in there. Yeah, you don't order the spicy chicken. You order the regular Wendy's chicken, and then douse it in this bitch. Oh, it's so much better. Goes great in the chili, everything. Yeah, just thought I'd throw that out there.
That might be underrated because I never heard of that. All right. Well, thank you, Krabs.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that is going to conclude our sauce talk for the day. And with that, of course, we have to get into our Cortex winner of the week, our Shack Pet Showdown. And if he's still here, I think he might still be in chat. Our Cortex winner of the week is our one, our only. Oh. He's coming in. There he is. It's Blake Morse. It's Blake Morse week.
Turning on my camera.
There he is. Congratulations, Blake.
Hold on, let me blur my disgusting apartment.
That looks good.
I need to see the abject squalor that I live in.
I want to see Toe Beans. Where's she at?
Blur it? God damn it. Oh yeah. Well, I have to finagle her with treats. Right now.
This is how you became the champion. Yeah. You're sharing this victory with Princess Toe Beans and BMO, right? I mean,
oh yeah, that's all because they're getting treats right now. Being such good beans. There you go, BMO. Beans.
They deserve it.
Here. Yeah.
Oh, that's cute.
Come on up here. Come on, you can do it. There you go. Here she is, Princess Toe Beans, the one and only.
Cute. Look at her.
Yeah,
princess.
Look at that cap and saddle.
She's out here doing things for food.
So what can't you do, Blake? You won Cortex. You're Mr. Charlie Bagattins. You bring the 10s to the children, and they've been good. I mean, what else? Is there anything else that you can do?
Can't read.
Nobody's perfect.
Words are hard.
No, I don't know. Sometimes you see an opportunity to share how much you love your pets with the world and rewarded with victory. Here, BMO, I got one just for you.
Pretty much says it right there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what Shack Pets is.
Put the love out into the world. You know why I did? It's like I've kind of become a better photographer because of Shack Pets in a lot of ways. And I've also gotten just really good at, making sure I get precious photos of these cute little beans who I love very much. Oh, Beans, you're a good Beans. You just want food. I know, but I still love you.
Your cats are superstars, and they don't even know it yet. They're like...
they know.
I try explaining it to them, but, here's the thing about cats is they already act like they're celebrities, so it doesn't really change much for them. Right? Oh, man. But, yeah, I just wanted to come in and talk some trash and drop the mic for a minute, how it goes. Look at all those other fellow Shacknews associates and things like that trying to come for me. They couldn't do it. That's right, Morgan. Morgan was at PAX East, so that may be why they didn't win this week. But really, it's like my shirt says. So anyway, I just started blasting, and that's what I did. I blasted Shack Pets with photos of my cats, and it worked, and I won.
You did.
And that's another W for the Blake. Yeah,
the miracle can happen.
They already know. They're just trying to keep me humble out here. It's tough to keep me humble, as anyone who's met me knows. Well,
actually, I didn't even realize. I thought 8 Mikey took a vacation, but he's on the list. He's down there at number 9. So you even topped resident 8 Mikey this week, putting up some great points.
Man, have you seen the pics that I've been posting lately, man? I
don't know. A lot of cat wrangling.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw the one that I posted on my Twitter today, but it's like it's the Beans, and they're cheek to cheek, all smiley, and it's how do you beat
killer
a picture like that, right? I caught BMO
stone cold killer.
I caught BMO kind of blepping with this like grumpy face on, and it's like totally meme worthy. That's up there.
A grumpy
I mean,
blep. I mean, geez, yeah. How could
yeah.
you lose?
Yeah, I'm like out here playing all the like rarest Pokemon. I've got like Charizards everywhere or some shit.
Nice. Well, I also want to give a quick little congratulations to Mad Dog Delphi 97 for winning the chatty. Obviously, have to shout out whoever wins the chatty, and Mad Dog, you did it again. And a shout out to shout out to welcome to Citadel Air. I didn't recognize their name on the list before, so congratulations.
Oh my god!
Welcome to the list.
Their dog, Bernard.
Okay,
that pupper? That's a lap dog for me, like big old like Saint Bernard type of dogs. Like those are the ones I just want to like pick up and hug forever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's a dog. Now that's a dog. You hug it, you know you're hugging a dog. You know,
it's a dog.
Like some of these dogs, these smaller dogs are like so cuddly and sweet, but sometimes you just need something to hug you back. You know, I love Lola, and I love snuggling with Lola, but you know, I also love snuggling my beans. Like they're adorable, but sometimes you want to get a little reciprocal snuggling in there. Like big doggos definitely like are full of love and want hugs just as much.
All doggos deserve love, big or small.
Hug all the animals, people.
Yeah.
Sure, maybe not like mountain lions, giant tigers, bears,
poisonous snakes.
There are some instances where you might be able to hug some of those things if you can take that opportunity. Most of us are going to basically have to avoid ever hugging certain animals, but domesticated things that aren't going to kill you or poison you, you know, go ahead and do your best to hug a pet of some sort every day. It's going to make your life better. And if you can't, Shack Pets will help you get that feeling. Like you'll want to hug all the pets on Shack Pets.
Absolutely. See, that's a great way to put it. Yeah. Use Shack Pets and you'll want to hug all of those good boys and girls.
When you can't hug all the pets, but you want to hug all the pets, download Shack Pets. It's like hugging all the pets. There you go.
Beautiful. I think we have to go out with that. There's no way we can top that. Thank you so much for joining us to just talk a little smack and drop the mic on the Shack Pets Showdown, the Cortex winner of the week. Congratulations for winning. That's going to do it. That's going to wrap up episode 129 of the Wide World of Electronic Sports. Thank you to everybody for watching. I guess I'll just wrap it up. Thank you to Chris Gerard, our technical director. Thank you to Rodney Conyers Jr., my cohort in crime, my producing partner. Couldn't do the show without you. I've been Bryan Lefler, your co-host of Wide World of Esports, and I think we're going to get out of here. See you later, everybody.
Bye. I was here too.
Yeah.